All right, y'all. I know if y'all been to my lives, y'all know I got to make sure I got everything together before I start running my mouth. But I think I need to clear some things up 100%. So let me get on here first, make sure everything is good that y'all can hear me, and then we're going to have our discussion. Okay, let me mute my laptop. Okay, so I think some things need to be cleared up for sure. I'm going to wait a little bit for some people to come in and then we can get into it because I believe there are some the last video that's kind of trending on my channel is about Terrence Howard. And I wanted to talk about that. It's a lot of people that is saying different things. And I wanted to wait for some people to chime in before I really get at what I want to say. But I want to talk about that because there's a lot of misconceptions in healthcare. I think there is things that need to be changed in healthcare 100%. And I think that a lot of people need to make sure that they have like patient advocates around them. If they're not really keen on medical jargon and what's the process of things, they need to befriend, people in their family, not just random people on YouTube, but people in their family that are in healthcare that could explain certain things to them instead of jumping to conclusions and trying to sue people or not really knowing the protocol of what's to happen. So, can you slaughter chicken? No, I don't eat meat, Journey. But thanks for your comment. Okay, it's a few people in here, so I'm gonna get to it. So, what I do want to say, hold on one second. So, what I do want to say, hold on one second. All right, so what I do want to say about this last video. Uh-oh, I thought I muted my computer. Sorry, y'all. What I do want to say about healthcare in general, it does need to change. There are people that have a good heart that's willing to help others that may have opted out of helping in the hospital because they were bullied or they were in a toxic area where they worked, and instead of them moving to a different department or moving to a different hospital or a different um, entity in healthcare, they just quit in general. And then it's a lot of the people that are out here that's just toxic bullies, and they are proud of what they do. They don't care what you think, and if you in their way, they gonna step over you because that's their personality. It's a lot of that in healthcare, and it shouldn't be. What I do believe when it comes to this video of the 19-year-old gentleman that was in a car accident that got out to help someone else and was hit by a car himself. That whole debacle was scary for the family. And of course, the family is faith based. So they're believing that a miracle will happen. And to their understanding, because I don't know what was discussed in that room, right? I'm not family, but I do share things that are already shared online. So for the people that reached out to me and said, "Hey, can you share my story? I have pictures, I have video." I'm not a legal professional at all. Seek legal help if you need it. But what I will say is that gentleman, Terrence, that died in that hospital, I think what might have happened, because I was in the ICU, so I do know ICU jargon and things that happen like that. When you're intubated, and let's pause. A lot of people didn't understand when I said extubated. So I told a lot of people to Google it, not trying to be, harsh. But there's intubation where the tube goes down your windpipe to help you to breathe, and there's extubation where they remove the tube. So in the video I talked about, I'm not sure if he was extubated or not, because you couldn't see at the angle of the video, but they discussed that the ventilator was cut off. So being that I couldn't see the patient's face, I didn't know, but he still did have the tube, so he was intubated at that time. Sometimes I don't use a lot of medical jargon because people on the channel may not know those definitions. So I kind of do it in layman's terms. I've been called, I'm not a nurse. The way that I'm saying things, I'm putting it down in layman's terms because everybody doesn't know. I know I'm a nurse. Y'all know I'm a nurse. But when it comes to Terrence, people are saying they're doing organ trafficking, harvesting, organ harvesting. And from the ICU perspective, and this was over 5 years ago, when there was a patient that was brain dead, what they would do was they would have the nurse or the doctor discuss any type of organ donation during that process. If they think that the patient won't survive, they'll say, okay, well, let's discuss if you want to donate organs. Now, I don't know if it was a DNR, do not resuscitate, for that 19-year-old. I don't know that. But when he came into the hospital, he was a John Doe. They didn't know who he was. When family came, of course, that all changed. But he came in a John Doe and he was in a car accident. That's why that whole video was going on. They were trying to get someone, and I apologize before I even get further. I apologize because I can't put all of this in 60-second shorts. And truth be told, a lot of people don't have time to sit and listen to the full story. So I put things in shorts because you may be at work on a break and you want to just kind of see some information and then look at more later. So that's why I do my shorts. So while he came in the hospital, he was moving limbs and things of that sort, but the mother in the video said a brain injury. So brain injury, they're thinking, okay, let's go and transfer him to one of the top neurologists in these particular states. They were in the process of getting money to transfer him to a different hospital because they didn't want to hear, they wanted a second opinion. They didn't want to hear what this place in North Carolina was saying. The family, again, they were doing CP. I mean, they are a faith-based family, so they believe in miracle signs and wonders. There's nothing wrong with that. So in one video, you saw the father doing compressions. They said he had a heartbeat. Now, if you're not a professional in healthcare, you know that you don't need CPR when you have a heart rate, right? If you have a heart rate, a heartbeat, you need oxygen. They cut the ventilator off for this gentleman. They cut it off. And in that whole process, someone mentioned organ donation to the family. Now, that probably made them upset because if you think about organ donation of your 19-year-old child that's healthy, you're like, wait a minute. We're not doing that. He's going to get up. It's some families that are just naive to end of life at that young age. There are also some families that will say, okay, well, it is what it is. I don't genuinely believe that that man had a DNR at all. He was John Doe coming in the hospital. How is he going to be a DNR as a healthy college football player with a DNR? If family did it, why are they doing CPR on their loved one? I don't think that's the case. A lot of people were mentioning, oh, we're going to take our organ donation off of our license. You can do that, but you know what? When it's your time and you're in a hospital, it don't matter if you had that on there. They're going to ask you anyway because that's protocol. And you could choose to say, no, I don't want to donate any of my organs, or yes, you can donate my organs. It all depends. A lot of people have this misconception of, oh, you're an organ donor. If they see that on your license, which, let's pause, registration see your license. The nurses is not going in your chart looking to see if you're an organ donor. The doctors are not going into your chart to see if you're an organ donor. They're looking at what's going on with you, your labs, your x-rays, your test results to see how they could cure you or to see if it's end of life. We're not looking at your license. Registration does that. Now, if you remove it, that's up to you. This video actually made me think about, should I remove it for myself? Because, I don't want them treating me any type of way because I'm an organ donor. Now, again, you can write a letter to whatever state and have them remove it, and they will. But it's not going to stop them from asking you when it's your time, do you want to donate your organs? You can say no. You can say yes. So regardless, if you take it off your license, it's totally up to you. Now, I believe that the situation where the family was they had a GoFundMe account trying to get money to transfer him to another hospital. I believe what I heard was they were given 72 hours to do so, and they needed the funding to get the gentleman from one place to another, and they had 72 hours. I'm not an employee of that hospital. That's not my family, but just coming from the video footage, what I was told was they cut off his ventilator before 72 hours. And, they were trying to get medical records to transfer him, and the hospital fell short of that. Now, of course, the hospital is not going to say their part because they smart enough to keep their mouth shut because it could be some lawsuits. Who knows? I'm not in that predicament. This is all allegedly. But what I will say is for him to be an organ donor, if they wanted to give his organs, there's no way that they would take them if the ventilator is off. You have to keep that body alive. You got to keep the heart pumping. You got to keep the blood flow going, the oxygenation in the body going to harvest organs. Now, people have looked up how much it is to get a heart transplant, a liver transplant. It can be $1 million for that hospital. Yes, hospitals are a business. I tell people that all the time. It's healthcare, but it's a business. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. It is a business. People in healthcare, they're not volunteering to do it. They're paid to work there, to deal with all type of things, with patients, with coworkers, with society, with medicine. It's all a business. Paid for services. So, but yeah, when it comes to, the family, and I've been trying to keep close with seeing if the family has posted anything. I think they're doing a memorial. If not, it may have already passed. They're doing a memorial at the gentleman's high school where they're doing purple ribbons and stuff like that, which is so sweet. But I haven't really heard from the family. This was like a friend of Terrence. So, a lot of people can jump to conclusions to say, sue this hospital. The nurses and the doctors aren't helping. The footage on when they were filming was when nobody was in the room, maybe just the one nurse. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, who's the one lady with the sweatshirt on?" To my understanding, because I looked at more videos, and the father said that was the boy's girlfriend. So she wasn't the nurse. The guy with the zip up, what in the badge, was a nurse. So I just want to clear out some misconceptions. And if you have something that you want to say in the comments, feel free to do so, because this is why I do my lives. But I believe that healthcare needs a change. I believe that it's a lot of people in healthcare that is there for the wrong things. They have the wrong attitudes. And sometimes, not all the time, I will say 80% of the time when you talk to patients in a calm, cool way, and even if they're confused about what you're saying, if you keep reiterating what you're trying to do and maybe break down in layman's terms, they'll understand and they'll be okay. Some of them just mad at the world, and we get that. But it's a lot of people, like the video I posted yesterday. There was a nurse practitioner. Now, you know, if you an NP or if you're inspiring to be an NP, you already know you have your master's for that. So think about your foundation. If you went through the process, you foundation, you get your associates in 2 years, maybe you got your bachelor's in 4 years, and then you go back to school for a couple more years to get your master's. In between all of that time, you're working as a nurse, and when you become a provider, you're working as a provider. So all of that time, 6+ years, you're talking to people and doing racial slurs. That is a no-no. The people that posted the video of her that I shared only a snippet. She had 2 videos. I bleeped out what she said because I didn't want that to be against me on YouTube. And y'all can kind of see what she was saying, and I kind of put some things on the screen to show. But why would you jeopardize your license, let alone you have people recording you and you have 5 stars, and you're in Columbus, Ohio. It's not like you're overseas. It's a lot of people that look at the internet, and that video was posted in a travel nurse group. Do you know how many travel nurses is in groups? I mean, it's thousands of people that's looking at that. And you never know, because the video was posted, her WebMD information with phone number was on there. I chose not to do it because I didn't want anybody just calling and messing with her. But she deserves to get some type of strike against her license for doing those racial slurs. Like, that's unnecessary. And if you look, the first video she did, it was a lady in the background. She kind of felt a little uncomfortable as she walked past. It was kids in the background as this lady was doing racial slurs and cussing at these patients that were inside then outside. It's ridiculous. You should not be in healthcare if you're going to do that. Period. Just put your license in the trash and go to something else, because that's not what healthcare is about. That's why I want to go back to school for education, to teach the upcoming nurses what they need to do when you deal with irate patients, because they don't teach you that in nursing school. What you need to do, how you need to handle it, and if you're in this thing just to get another tax bracket up, you might as well quit now. So let me go to these comments real quick. Make sure you say something. If you want to say it, please do. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, because I believe I have millions of people watching my videos, and y'all not subscribed. I don't know why. But for the people that are, hey, appreciate you. You know how we do every other week. We on this live. So make sure that you say something in the comments if you just want a hey, girl. Hey. All right. Palace saying sup. Let me see. Hello. With the pink hands. Hey, girly. Hey. Okay. As a healthcare provider, I can most definitely say, besides the state officials, families are the worst thing about providing care for someone. Okay. And you know what? Let me elaborate on that. Now, I will say, like during the pandemic, when COVID was like really rampant, I will say a lot of the healthcare providers were happy that family wasn't there at the bedside. Family can be difficult. Family can kind of look at everything that you do because they're afraid. But I guarantee you, if you explain what's happening, because a lot of the people that come in there that observe, some of them do have a medical background. They just don't say anything. And you can kind of see if they do, because they're looking at all of the stuff. And then they kind of talk to you a little bit about some medical things. So what I will say is, If family comes in there and they're questioning everything, say hello, I'm so and so, I'm going to do this today and blah blah blah. Let me know if you need anything or you have any questions. Some people don't like to get questions from family, but if you're asking, do you have questions, that makes them feel more comfortable. If it's something you can't answer, say, well, you know what, I will let the provider know, or the provider is doing rounds at whatever o'clock. Feel free to ask this, because some patients or patient family will ask the nurse a mile of questions, and when the doctor gets there, the doctor spends 2-3 minutes and they out the door. Did you ask your question? Nope, I forgot. Okay, save all of those questions that I can't answer for the provider. Okay, hello, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you as well. Let me see, what does it say? Game over, Raven. Okay, thank you for being a nurse and caring for strangers. You're greatly appreciated. Thank you, Sherry. Amanda, yes, girl. Okay, so anybody else want to do some comments in the chat? But I'm telling you, healthcare needs a change. Is people out here that are genuinely there for the patient. Of course, we genuinely need to be paid for what we do. So when people say you in it for the money, everybody is in it for the money. We have to have some type of living. We have to take care of our families. We have to feed them, clothe them, feed ourselves, get to work, pay bills. Everybody does their jobs for the money. So let's just take that misconception right out of there. Everybody, no doctor is going to go through thousands of dollars in debt to do something for free. Everybody does something for the money when they're at their job, period. Hey, Amanda from North Carolina. Okay. Tired Mommy. Hey, Tired Mommy from Delaware. Look, I understand. I got 3, okay? 3 kids. So I understand. But my 2 oldest ones, they'll be in college in 2 weeks. And then I just got the little one that's like on my profile picture on here. So, Tired Mommy, I understand. I've definitely been there. It gets better. Okay. Let me see. Mississippi here. Happy to be here. Hey, from Mississippi. So, what I want to say about, I think it was something else. So for people that's saying, "Oh, well, are you a nurse?" Because you're not. That video doesn't make sense. The videos that I post, if it's footage that's already online, it's not my video. I'm sharing it. And let's get to this. The reason why I share videos, the good, the bad, the ugly in healthcare, is because I want you to have some type of person in your life that is an advocate for you. If you can't advocate for yourself, you need to have somebody that's in the medical field that knows medical jargon. So if it's something that happens to you and you're in the hospital, somebody that you can call up, and please do not send me any emails and say, could it been you? I can't. I got enough on my plate. But you need somebody in your area, family members, maybe a neighbor that's a nurse or a doctor or a physician assistant, nurse practitioner, somebody that knows medical jargon to be there just in case you have questions about something. Because some people in healthcare will wing it, and I've seen it. So if you don't know the right things, it'll go right past you. I mean, you won't know everything, of course, but when you know the basics, when you say, oh, well, why am I getting this done? What test is needed for this? What are you looking for? Some people are afraid to ask questions to their providers. And I say, don't be, because you need to know what they're looking for as well. If they say, I got to run some more tests. Okay, what's the test for? What are you looking for? What are you trying to rule out? Those simple things, so that they can talk to you a little bit better. Because sometimes doctors will say, okay, well, we're going to do a CAT scan and just do a couple more blood tests to check some things. To check what? Tell me what you're trying to check for. Are you trying to rule out something? Are you trying to check for something else? Okay, Because you have to say, okay, we can do this. Or you can say, you know what, I'm tired of the test. But if you know what they're looking for, then you will be more intuitive of, okay, well, you can do this because I want to know if I have this and what are the signs and symptoms of this. Am I showing those signs? So just having more open communication with your providers. Now, your nurses can give you things, but the doctor is running those tests. I mean, the doctors are ordering those tests, ordering that blood work, and they have more knowledge than nurses. The residents, if you get a resident and you're not comfortable, not saying all residents, because some residents are awesome, especially the non-arrogant ones, because they grow up. They're growing into becoming a doctor, no longer a resident, but they have to do their years first. If you come across a resident that's ordering things, ask them questions as well. Why am I getting this done? What are you looking for? Am I showing signs and symptoms of what you're looking for? Are you trying to rule out things? Because some people will order tests, and guess what's happening with insurance? Guess what's happening? I'm gonna stop talking. Guess what's happening to the insurance when they ordering these tests when you're in a hospital? Comment below. What's going on with the insurance? And I'm missing some comments in here. Tell me what's happening when these doctors order these tests to check you out in the hospital. What's going on? What's happening with insurance? I haven't seen anybody say anything about insurance yet. Oh, yes, I had. Tired Mommy said something. So, exactly. Yes. Insurance companies, they gonna get milked for all of the funds that they could get for this test, for that test, for this blood test, for this x-ray, for this ultrasound, for this, for that, for this. And think about the patient. What about copays? Just because you at a doctor's office, there's a copay. Just because you're at a hospital, there's a copay. What if you don't even reach the amount for your insurance to cover, and you have a huge bill when you're discharged? When you get home and you see this huge bill and you call like, hey, did you run this through my insurance? Oh, your deductible is X, Y, and Z, and you didn't reach that, so you have to pay blah, blah, blah. Are you kidding me? So ask questions, because you have insurance, but be keen on what your insurance covers, what's your deductible. You're not going to know how much all of the tests cost until after the fact, but be conscious of that. Also, what I want to say, you do want to be compliant with these providers, but a lot of these doctors were just taught medicine, not holistic route, but take a pill for this, take a pill for that, do this, do that. Me, I'm not prescribed any medication. I try to do things holistically. I try to eat my medicine, as in my nutrition is what you put in your mouth. It's what you cook for yourself. It's what you buy for yourself. Here and there, I'll get some things and then I'll think about it like, whoa, I'm going a little bit too far off. Let me get back to my routine. Your life could be so much better if you watched what you put in your body. Now, if you're on medication that you're prescribed, take it. But change up some things. If you can exercise to reduce some of that, if you're on blood pressure medicine, you need to be changing up what you eat. Everything shouldn't be fried. If you are diabetic, if you're type 2, because type 1, that's more so of when you were a child, you got that. But if you're type 2, that can be reversed. So you definitely, and I'm on my soapbox right now because I reversed, I was pre-diabetic, and that's because I used to eat any and everything because my metabolism was on point. You get older, it slows down. You can reverse type 2 diabetes. You need to, instead of just eating whatever you want to eat and just taking your medicine, switch up your stuff. Change it up. Do a calorie deficit. Or not even that, because I don't want you to be bottoming out if you're taking medicine. And this is just my opinion, not legal advice. I think that at least you should condense the amount that you eat. If you eat so many meals a day, cut your portions down some. Check your sugar as you're doing it. But you definitely could change the medication that you put in your body by changing what foods you put in your body. And I'm not sure if this is the first time you're hearing it, but I know it won't be the last. If people really care about you, they'll tell you, change up what you eat. And people will say, oh, lose weight, do this, do that, but they don't tell you how. Go for a walk, put a sweatband on, put a sweat outfit on, hydrate yourself, drink water if you're not on dialysis, because dialysis patients can't drink a lot of liquids. It's so many things you could do to reverse yourself. Have y'all thought about, remember when it was videos out there of people that lost so much weight during the pandemic because they were at home? They switched up what they ate, they exercised, they did some walking, and they went from 200-300 pounds down to like 150, 170. They did the change because there was no distractions. You have to be headstrong to get yourself together so that you don't have to have so many hospital trips, so that your follow-ups could be annual and you're just checking to see if my levels are good. That's how my hospital trips, well, my doctor's office trips are. They're just annual because I'm conscious of what I need to do for myself to keep me living longer with no medication. I don't require any medication for anything, but I do take my vitamins. I do eat healthier. I don't eat meat, but that's my choice. So let me get back down to the comments, because I know I was on my soapbox, but I care about y'all and I want y'all to do this for yourself, because when you're unhealthy, guess what happens? You go to the hospital, you go to your doctor's office, they run more tests on you, they do all of this stuff with your insurance. And if you're not at that deductible, that's coming out of your pocket. So get out here, go for a walk, change up what you eat, cut out the fried foods. Maybe you want to bake some stuff instead of frying it all the time. Of course, that crispy sear is good when you fry it, but think about your health. Okay, let me get on here and read some of these comments. I'm sorry, y'all. I just care. So I'm always say that. Even at work, people like, you don't eat nothing. You eat too healthier. You gonna order with us. And sometimes I do, but then it's like, I'm not ordering a big meal because that's not my normal. I don't eat heavy at work. So, okay, let me go back all the way up. Thank you for saying we need comp for our blood, sweat, and tears, emotional and soul. Yes, absolutely. Okay, Amanda, I never feel like I'm working when I was in the medical field. I never feel like I'm working when I'm in the medical field. I love taking care of, oh, gotcha. I love taking care of people naturally. Some nurses are literally just for the check, but bedside manner is everything. Amanda, yes, absolutely. But you know what? For them to get into that whole field of nursing, it wasn't easy. There's a lot of people that can't even get into nursing school because it's so hard. You got to test in, and it's not an easy task. Now, I believe a lot of people got in with the right heart, but when they see what they're up against from patients and from different healthcare workers that can be toxic, it changes up their attitude, which I don't think you should change your attitude towards patients, but you should distance yourself from the toxicity or get a different job in a different area. Okay. Just joined, but I agree that healthcare is declining. Yes, nurse 15 years, and I do all and best to treat my patients with respect and advocacy. There is so many healthcare workers who don't, that could, yes, they couldn't care. It is. And again, what I was saying from Amanda's uh, comment, that people, they stop caring. They get chewed up. They start off in the field as a novice. They're sweet. They come in as a ray of sunshine, and then they get bombarded with the negativity, with the toxicity, and with sometimes doctors maybe barking orders at them and just not really being nice, which everybody's personality is not going to be bubbly and cheery, but that does a toll on people. So then they become not so nice and not so caring and have attitudes. And when you get like that, you need to pause and redirect yourself to why are you there? Because patients need you, regardless of if you got an attitude. You need to treat them with respect, regardless of if they're coming off a little harsh. When you treat them the right way, eventually they'll apologize for how they're treating you. And then it's like, okay, it's all good. I'm here to help you. You all good now, And sometimes they'll always keep that attitude, and then they'll think about it when they get home and say, dang, I should have apologized for that. That happened to me recently where, it was a patient that kept coming up to our area because he was confused. And I went up to him and I said, well, you know what? Are you confused? No. Do you have someone at home to help you with your schedule? Because you seem a bit confused. Totally took it different from, and this is genuinely how I said it to this person. Totally took it different and was like, I don't need no help. You come up here every week with your schedule and questions. So my concern is, do you need help with organizing things because you don't have anybody to help you at home? Do you have a family member you can call to help you? And some people can just be, I don't need no help, but I'm going to do this on my own. But you do need help because you're asking people for it. And then some people are like, yeah, I do need that help. So with this scenario, this patient, he apologized and was like, you know what, I am confused. I do need help. And me coming off saying, I don't need no help. I did. I was just being defensive. And I told him, I said, I only said that because I care. If I didn't care, I wouldn't even come up to you. So I just want to make sure that you have things set up for you, because I know we see you a lot and you don't have to come to this area that often. So, some people will come back to an area because it was people that were helpful, and then it becomes an extra job for the people that's helping. But if we get somebody together, hopefully they won't have to keep coming back for the same thing. But anyway, let me get back to the comments. And hopefully you guys are already subscribed to the channel and gave me a like on this video. Okay, let's see. Absolutely, I was an advocate for my brother-in-law. He had colon cancer. Queen of South, I'm glad you were advocate for your brother-in-law. I'm sure that was helpful for him in that time. Okay, I'm about to start my first semester in RN school. Any advice? Okay. Is it Keenan? Congratulations on that. Your first semester. What I will say for your first semester in RN school is get your personal life in order. If you are out partying and stuff like that, let people know, look, I'm about to start school. I'm about to have no life at all. So we can have our last little sit down shebang before I start. Because I did this myself. Because I took a girls trip before I started. When I was in nursing school, my husband was my boyfriend at the time. We had like our last little going out type meal event, whatever. And, I just told him, I said, I know I'm going to be head in the books, not really being able to do a lot of things like we're used to because I need to get through school. And I know the first semester is the hardest because you're not used to going through this process. So get your personal life in order. What I will say is make sure that you remain focused. If you are working while you're in school, that's going to be difficult. So make sure that your employer knows, Keenan, about you going. If you're already in the healthcare field and, hopefully they work with your schedule so that you could go to school and you can work on your off time, that would be perfect. But definitely get your personal endeavors in order first, because that's going to have to all stop when you're in nursing school. Okay. We always told the insurance companies change the quality of care by doctors/nurses because they stopped paying for certain services or procedures. Not sure how true that is. Child mommy, I'm not sure how true that is either because I don't work for an insurance company. Let's see. Get ready for a lot of work. Oh, Amanda said, ready for a lot of work and it's worth every struggle. Yes, insurance pays out. Okay, so this must have been when I was asking about, when your deductible, I mean, when all these tests are being, ordered by these doctors, what happens with insurance? So, yeah, so insurance, it does pay out, but if you don't reach that deductible, you paying out of pocket. Okay. Um, Insurance companies stop paying for certain services. They don't pay for ER visits anymore. Wow. So ER visits, it used to be just a deductible, but I wonder why don't they pay for ER visits anymore? Tired mommy, can you give me more detail on that? And I mean, I worked in the ER. I started my career off in the ER, and then recently I went back to the ER per diem because I kind of missed a little bit of bedside because I did case management and things of that and oncology clinics and stuff like that. So I wanted to get back into actually semi bedside because ER is bedside, but you're not push pulling and tugging like I did in the ICU. Okay, let's see. Um, let's see. I fight insurance companies all day for my patients, and I love it. Before I got insurance, I almost bled out 3 times, and my hemoglobin was 2. Oh my goodness, sheesh. Put me straight in the ICU for over a month, but they allowed me to keep bleeding out. They finally did emergency surgery. I wonder why did they do that? Like, you're in the ICU for a month, you're losing blood. What doesn't click? I mean, for them to do it, or maybe it was they were ruling out things before a month, or maybe I don't know. Were you getting better, Amanda? Were you getting better within that month and then losing blood again? I don't get it. They should have did something, or maybe they finally figured out what was wrong. Okay. Girl, I used to take what I was told, but now I'm looking into more holistic methods. Yeah, Amanda, 100%. Because you do take what you're told for sure. Because if you're not switching up your diet, because remember, back in the day, it was a lot of herbal medicine. Like before our time, it was herbal medicine. It wasn't just, okay, you about to take this pill for high blood pressure, you taking this pill for gout, you taking this pill for diabetes, you getting this injection for this, you taking, no, it wasn't all of that. It was, we ate certain things. A lot of the stuff that we eat in stores, there are a lot of chemicals and additives that turn into toxins in your body, and we just season it up and cook it and eat it, not knowing that the stuff that's in these grocery stores to preserve these foods are not always that best on your health. Okay, let's see. Yes, so glad that you're sharing this information. As a nurse, I tell my patients the same thing. People need to not be afraid to ask questions and speak up. Advocate for yourself, your life, 100%. But you know what? Some people don't necessarily know what to say. So ask questions. And if you don't know the right questions, if they say, hey, I'm looking at your blood work, it's getting better. If you're ready to go home, well, what do I need to be discharged? What do I need to do, or how should I be in order to go home? You can ask those questions, and then they can break it down to you. Hopefully, they'll break it down to you. But ask these questions to your doctor, because the nurses do what they're told. Doctors order the test. And if it's something as simple as, okay, well, you need to have a bowel movement before you're discharged, then okay, let's get up, start walking around the unit to get those bowels going so that you can have a bowel movement and get back home. Or if it's just something as simple as we want we want you to do physical therapy for another day. At least now simple stuff. But if you don't ask, you'll never know. and you can make assumptions all day. Your nurse can ask certain things. More than likely, your nurse has the information, but you want to hear from the person that's ordering all of this stuff. You want to hear from their mouth. What am I to do next? What am I doing? How long will this take? If they know, sometimes they don't know. It depends on the person. Everybody's situation is not the same. Sorry, y'all, I'm running my mouth. I need some water. Hydration. Okay, let me get back to it. Bridget, I work for a health insurance company. It's very important to understand your plan. Absolutely, Bridget. Okay. Most people don't realize that they have to pay their premiums, deductible and out of pocket max. Read the exclusions. Now, I do agree with you, Bridget, because some people will just say, "Oh, well, I know this name. I know that Blue Cross, Aetna, Blue Care Network, um, say any name that you can think of that's a well-known name." There are different tiers to those, especially when you are working as an employee and you're getting this insurance through your employer. You got to really look at the red tape, because it's names of companies that's for Aetna and they're like mail handlers, or Blue Cross is, well, usually Blue Cross is the same thing. I don't think it's any different, but it's different names for this. So look at your deductibles, look at your what's covered, your premiums, look at how much your copay is. See if they have a flex plan so that you can put money from your paycheck into that flex bank, so that when you go to these places and you have a copay that you don't have the money for at the time, swipe that card. You already put money into it. Okay. Amanda again. Let's see. Do you know of anything that helps detox kidneys? Because I have stage 2 kidney disease, but they haven't even done blood work to check progression. Amanda, why haven't they checked the blood work? Tell me that. I don't know any detoxes per se. I do follow someone, and I follow a couple of doctors on YouTube that have millions of subscribers, but the holistic route, I do follow Dr. Bobby Price. He has like a detox tea, but it's not for necessarily kidneys, it's for like parasites. And he talks about eating one ingredient meals. So I definitely don't know about a detox for kidneys, but definitely do your research. And if they're not checking your blood work, what are they waiting on? Are they waiting to do it every year? Are they checking it every 6 months? Amanda, tell me, what are they waiting on? And ask them, because you're a healthcare professional, so you should be able to be in a loop of what's the next step. What should I do to get things better? Do I just need to hydrate more? Because I know they easily say, "Oh, make sure that you just drink more water," but it could be more things that you could do. That's not my expertise. Okay, let's see. That is so true. I love when you get to stop taking. Wait, that's so true. I love when we get to stop RXing insulin. Yes, that is like awesome, because some people, what you have to do, to be honest, you have to scare yourself. You don't want to scare yourself when you're in the hospital losing different things based on the diagnosis you were given. You want to scare yourself into preventative mode so that you don't have to go through that process. But a lot of people may say, "Hey, we dying anyway. I'm going to eat what I want." And that's not always what you need to do. It's people that smoke. They like, "I enjoy smoking. I'm going to do it until I die." That causes a lot of health issues as well. So that's just my opinion. I don't smoke. Um, but it is what it is. It's up to you to feed your body the right nutrition to get off of those medications. But take them, but change up your diet. So when you check up with your doctor and they say, "Oh, well, your levels are good, your cholesterol is good, you don't need to take any high cholesterol medication. Oh, your blood pressure is getting a little bit too low while taking this. Let me reduce your dose." Because you don't want to stop cold turkey. Some of these medications will have side effects where it's messing with you even more. So you definitely want to change up what you eat. Check with your doctor often. I mean, not too often where you up in there every month, but follow up with them. Give your body time to actually work on healing itself, because the body is designed to heal itself. People heal themselves from cancer by just eating certain foods, juicing, and not eating certain foods. So we have the ability to eat things to help us to live a long life with no type of diseases. But you have to be, how would I say this? You have to be, um, you got to be hard on yourself. You got to say, what am I doing? Why am I even craving this? I want sweets. Let me eat an apple. Let me eat some natural sweet instead of eating all of the junk, because there's a lot of different things that you can't even understand when you read the label in the junk food. I eat junk, but I don't eat it as much as what I used to. You got to titrate that down. And when you think that all of this stuff, okay, well, it ain't doing nothing to me yet, think about how your body is. Are you gaining weight from it? Mm-hmm. You need to cut it down. Unless you're just trying to gain weight. If you're trying to gain weight, you can gain weight in other ways, but you don't have to eat junk. You can eat more dense foods, but it don't have to be junk. Okay, let me go back to the comments. Let's see. It scares me so bad. I swear I can just walk out and my legs stay swollen to the point where it's uncomfortable. That's terrible, Amanda. Are your doctors doing anything for that in particular? Because I'm sure that's some type of edema. If you have kidney disease, maybe your kidneys are not excreting enough to remove that. I'm sure they probably gave you some type of Lasix or something like that to temporarily relieve that. But I okay, Amanda, are you a water drinker? Answer that in the comment. I'll get to it when I get down to the bottom. But are you a water drinker? If not, are you someone that eats hydrating fruits or vegetables? Like cucumber is 90% water. Watermelon. Everybody don't like watermelon, but watermelon is 90% water. Some things, if you don't like to drink water, try coconut water. That's the best type of water that you can drink. Or spring water, stuff like that. What I have in my refrigerator is we actually have a Brita tap, so we filter our water. Okay, let me go down. Let's see. Amanda, water, and more water. Flush those kidneys. I'm trying to avoid my doctor as much as possible, but I should be on kidney meds or going to a kidney doctor, or is my PCP enough? Amanda, no, your primary care is not enough. Let me just stop what I'm doing right now. Primary care is somebody that's over the whole body. But if you want to get better, you need to go to a nephrologist. Nephrologist is over kidneys. Just like primary care will be over diabetic patients. They know the general over everything, but did I say diabetes? I'm not sure. If I didn't say diabetes, primary care will be over a diabetic patient, but they're not going to an endocrinologist. An endocrinologist is specifically for the endocrine, that is specifically for diabetic patients. If you want the knowledge, instead of just somebody writing a script and saying, take this because your A1C is at the borderline, so take this medication, and then you thinking you straight and you eating whatever, and then your body gets into diabetes. No. Go to the specialist. And keep me posted on that, Amanda. Go to a specialist for that, because they can give you more tips of what you need to do to reverse that. Because just because they're an endocrinologist don't mean that they want you to go into kidney disease, to kidney failure, and be on dialysis. They help you to actually keep your kidneys better. Who was that? Somebody walking. Hold on. Oh, that's probably my daughter washing clothes. Okay. I was making sure my baby girl wasn't up because she was going to jump right in the camera with her pajamas on. Okay. All right. So, Amanda, what you need to do, call your insurance company, see if you need a referral to see a nephrologist so that you can get that specialty for your kidneys, and they could probably reverse some stuff. Primary care ain't gonna do that because they got a lot on their plate with dealing with your head to toe, but they should have already referred you to a specialist. So call your primary care and say, can I get a referral to whoever? Do your research to see who are good nephrologists in your area, and you may not even need a referral. So definitely do that, Amanda. Primary care is not enough. Okay, Amanda, no stage 3 or 4 maybe, but not stage 2 in my opinion. Okay. I drink water all day, but I seem to hold it. Okay, yeah. Go to a nephrologist, Amanda. Just go to it. It's no harm in going to a specialist that can help you for kidney disease. It's no harm in doing that. The worst thing you have to do is pay a copay. You see somebody, you get some questions answered, you let them know that you have swelling in your legs, that you hydrate yourself on the regular. How can you help me to get better? Nephrology will help you. You're talking to somebody that worked with dialysis patients. I was a nurse supervisor for a nephrologist that was the head of that dialysis clinic. Those people are specialized in that. Okay. Let me see. That was what I was thinking. All right. Okay. Purge voter. 25. Is that supposed to be years? Okay, 25 years as an LPN. Now I'm back in school. All OB and I love it still, but there has been a dramatic change. Dramatic change. Yes. So, purge voter, are you in school to be an OB nurse, or you want to change up where you are? I mean, 25 years, that's a good amount of time. Or are you going to school to be RN and then go to NP? Okay. Tiffany, maybe diuretic can help flush out the fluid retention. I'm sure, yeah, Tiffany, a diuretic is number one, but you got to be careful with diuretics because some of them are potassium sparing and some are potassium wasting. And you know, potassium messes with your heart. So you have to make sure that they get your levels first before they, prescribe you something, and to make sure that you stay on top of what you eat if you have a potassium sparing or wasting medication. People don't say that. They just prescribe it and they give you a printout. And most people don't even look at the printout. So if you're prescribed that, make sure that you know your levels so that you're not, potassium, we know it messes with your heart. If you're a healthcare professional, if you're a nurse, you know that potassium levels, if it's too low, it messes with your heart. If it's too high, it messes with your heart. So you got to be cautious with these diuretics. But if you need them, take them because that'll get that fluid off of your legs. It'll take some fluid from off of your heart, and it'll make life easier for you until you find out what the true thing is you need to do. That's a temporary fix. Diuretics are only a temporary fix. They're not supposed to be long term, but some people take them long term. It may be good for somebody long term. Who knows? I don't know everything. Sigma, I'm not a Sigma girl. Okay. But not daily, Amanda. It could cause severe dehydration and maybe 2 to 3 times a week. Oh, the diuretic, yes. So, I mean, if you prescribe a diuretic, they're going to give you the information that you need. But remember, it's temporary help. Go to a specialist to help you. All right. Time management and organization is a must. Absolutely. Men are reluctant to ask for help. You know what? They are. I don't think it's just men. I think it's people in general, because working at the bedside, you'll have patients that will talk to a doctor. The doctor will be in there, say some medical jargon that people don't understand, when you know you need to put it in layman's terms. We know that you're smart. Just like I put things in layman's terms on my channel, there's no way that patients feel comfortable with somebody that's talking all of this extra high stuff over their head. Always say, hey, I do have a question. Maybe this is dumb, maybe it's not. And it'll make the provider say, okay, let me sit down. And some will sit down there and answer all of your questions. And some will say a couple of things and get right out the door. I mean, they have other people to see, but take the time to answer the questions so that when you are going to your next patient, your nurse is not bothering you with, oh, well, the patient decided they had questions after you left. They want to know this, and that. Because some stuff the nurse can answer and some stuff they can't, because they need that information from the provider on what's going on in their mind, on why they're doing this and what needs to be the outcome of that. So ask questions and stop being afraid. Don't think that you're being a burden on anyone. If the doctor is in that room and you have questions, ask them. If you don't have questions at that time and you know that they're going to come later on, write them down. Ask the nurse for a piece of paper, a pen. I want to write down some questions for the doctor. Guaranteed they'll give you that, because that's less questions that they have to ask on your behalf and relay it. And then you want to truly get the answers of what you need. If you get it from the nurse and they just give you something, and don't wing it, nurses. If you don't know, say, I'm not aware right now, let me get back with you. It's a waiting game, of course, but you can truly get that from the doctor when you're asking them yourself. If you don't understand it, can you break that down in layman's terms? They know the layman's terms for it. Okay, so Tiffany, yes, my doc goes back and forth with me about Lasix, and Lasix alone doesn't help. Exactly, Amanda. Lasix is temporary. It's not the win all be all. Okay, so I clicked on something. All right, okay. Do it when young, not while working and raising kids. Purge voter. What was that for? Was that for the advice for the nurse school? I'm not sure. It just say do it young while not working and raising kids. Because I actually did nursing school while I was raising my two oldest kids now. And I worked. So it's different for everybody. But I had a good foundation of help when I was in those years of school for nursing. Okay. Willow barking is aspirin, and foxglove is for dig. Sage is great for dental issues. Okay. Oh, so are you giving us? Okay, purge voter. All right, Amanda. The last time I walked into the ER, my hemoglobin was 3.5, and they couldn't believe I was even walking. Yeah, because that's low. You probably looked pale too. But you never know how people are. You know, people can walk and talk, and you don't know until you check their lab work. Okay. My body had gotten so used to running low. Yeah. I guess God walked me in. I'm glad he did. Okay, Amanda, God was holding you. I can't imagine the amount of damage it did to my organs running on blood that low. But you know what? Your body rejuvenates. So I'm sure when you went in the ER, you probably got a few units of blood. And with time, your body will rejuvenate. It won't snap back in a day because you were low on blood. But what I think it needs to happen is you probably need to definitely see a, I don't know. I'm not, I dropped out of NP school. I'm not a provider. NP was not for me. But just listening to your story, I'm not sure if has your doctor recommended you to go to, a specialist for the bleeding, like maybe a hematologist or something like that. I'm not sure, Amanda, but you need to see a specialist for those concerns. Um, I think PCP is not enough. And some primary care providers are so greedy that they want to keep the patients for their own and just have them to manage everything. And that's not why specialty doctors are here. Specialty doctors are here to take care of that particular part of your body. Primary is to take care of you as a whole. The specialty care people will give the information to primary to let them know, but I believe that if it's something that's not being managed, you need to go to a specialist. Now, if primary is managing it, cool, but if not, you need to go to a specialist and let them know, hey, this is the information that this doctor told me on this concern that has been happening for years. I wanted to get a second opinion. And they'll be okay with it because that's less stuff for them to do. But you owe it to yourself to get a specialist in those areas that you have problems. Okay. Um, can't imagine the amount of damage. Okay. Cassie, seen as crouching at the door, eager to control you, but you must subdue it and be its master. How do you feel about this verse? Well, Cassie, we're not in Bible study. So this can be portrayed in several things. I mean, sin is all around. Okay, it's always gonna be knocking at your door. Whether it's somebody trying to call you on the phone, somebody trying to distract you on the internet, somebody trying to something that's attacking your mental. You can watch something. It's always going to be around. But it's just up to you to make the best of your life and to stay away from the things that bother you as much, if possible, to always, find the positive in things, because this world is it's a lot of negativity and strife and depression out here. And sometimes it's not as easy to break away from it, but you got to find something that you love and do more things that you love. Cling on to it. If it's something like you like to exercise, or you like to dance around the house, or you like to bake, or you like to cook, do stuff that you love to make you feel better. All right. I'm thinking about taking medicinal herbal class to incorporate into patient care at the family practice I'm with. Oh, well, that sounds good. Let me see. Jamie, HSA, health spending account. Yes. Yep, flex. I said flex account, but HSA. Thank you, Jamie. Amanda, testimony tonight. My blood dropped to 2. My husband had left for Texas as a lineman, and his friend came over at 11 p.m. because I didn't sound right. I started having bad chest pain and couldn't breathe. You know why, Amanda? When your hemoglobin drops low, the oxygenation in your blood is low. You're not going to be able to breathe well. So thankful for that friend that came over. You need to have some good friends like that. Okay. Insurance will only allow checking blood every 6 months. Yes, they will. There was okay, I'm gonna tell you my story really quick, because when I was with a primary care physician, I miss her. I mentioned her a couple of times. She was an older she was an older, sorry, that was probably my daughter. She was an older doctor. She was very thorough. She would dictate in front of you, and at the end of her visiting, she would say a prayer. You don't get that anymore in healthcare. I loved her, but she retired during the pandemic, which I understand because she didn't want to be involved with all of this. So at year 2 of the pandemic, because at first she just took some time off, but at year 2 of the pandemic, she these pants getting tight. Year 2 of the pandemic, she retired, and she said that we could go to her counterparts that's in the office, which I didn't want them, I wanted her. So I went to another practice. But what she told me things to do for me to get off, for me to not no longer be pre-diabetic. I took that under consideration when I went to my new primary care. I asked him, I said, well, I was told that I'm pre-diabetic, and I want to know because I changed up some things. I lost about 30 pounds, 30 plus pounds, and I wanted to see if I was still pre-diabetic. I said, can you, check my A1C? They said, well, you have to be, for them, they said you have to be notated as a diabetic for us to check that. And I'm like, well, I wasn't back then. I was a new patient, and maybe something has changed in insurance. But they were looking out for me to make sure that I didn't have to pay a lot of money for this blood test, which I would have paid it. I just wanted to know for myself. So what they did was they asked me, did I have breakfast? I said, yes, I did. I had it, and it was a morning appointment, but I had breakfast less than an hour ago. I think I had some grits or something like that. So they did a finger poke, and they checked my glucose level. Not saying that they can give you a finger poke to check your kidney function, but it's ways around it. They did a finger poke, and they checked my glucose level, and it was under 100. For me to have eaten, I think it was like, I don't know, like 80 or something like that. But for me to have eaten, and if I was diabetic with no medicine, it would have still been high because it was a carb. So they say, oh, you're no longer pre-diabetic because your sugar level is this, and it's not even fasting. So I'm happy about that. So it's ways around that they can help you with, but you gotta, if it's for your sanity, if you want to just know your levels, and if you go to the ER, pretty much, if Amanda, if you went to the ER and you got blood because your hemoglobin was low, they checked your kidney function, your bunny creatinine. They've checked it. So sometimes you could just ask for a printout and from your nurse and say, can I have a printout of my labs? This is something they already did. But yes, depending on your diagnosis, the insurance will only cover 6 months or every year of your blood work, especially if you're in good condition, like if you're a healthy individual with no issues. But what you can do is, if you just really want to know, ask if they can give you the amount of how much it is to check your kidney function levels. Because if it say the test is only $20, if you want to just know, you know that you're going to get a $20 bill for checking these kidney function tests. If they're going to check multiple, let me know what is the amount for each test so that I can know I'm willing to pay this out of pocket. So, plain and simple. But if you don't want to pay out of pocket, just wait for the doctor to do whatever. But if you go somewhere because you're sick, they're going to run your kidney function anyway, because they got to make sure that they give you the right things based on the blood work that they've already tested on. Okay. Hale, what are your thoughts and opinions on IUDs? I've had an IUD before. Birth control is against what your body needs, but back when I had it, I was a phlebotomist. I wasn't in nursing, but I did it because I had 2 children and I never had birth control. So I got shots, and then I got the IUD because I was tired of the shots, just not really knowing all of the stuff. It reverses what your body naturally wants to happen. So it's up to you. After my 5 years, I took my IUD out, and it took almost a year for me to get a period back because I was married and we wanted to have another child, the child that's in that profile picture, that's 6 now. It took some time for me to even get a period, let alone to be regular, to even try to have another child. So that's up to you. I used it back when it did its job, but some people, I've seen a image of a baby with an IUD in their hand when they were delivering. So it's up to you. I wouldn't get it again. I'm not on any birth control at all right now because it was so harsh on my body. I just chose not to do it. But that, again, that's my opinion. Okay, I literally found out about kidney disease in an emergency room visit. Are you kidding me, Amanda? And my PCP says, "Oh yeah, you have kidney disease. I've asked for labs, but I have asked for labs, but I keep getting put off." Amanda, how long has that been your primary care physician? Because if, oh yeah, you having kidney disease, why aren't you giving that information? Is it an assumption that you already knew? You knew this from the ER? So that means your ER visits are more successful than your primary care visits. And ER is temporary. So I always tell people when I was in the ER working, follow up with your primary care physician. And some primary care physicians are booked up and you can't get in. So, and some primary care physicians will tell you, hey, go to the ER because they can't give you liters of blood if your levels are so low, or if your blood pressure is so high, it's high enough for you to have a stroke. They'll tell you to go to the ER so you can get emergency medicine to help you. But Amanda, I don't know, how long has he been your, or he or she been your primary care physician? Because I don't like that. You need to be in the loop of how your body is doing. You shouldn't get that information from an ER doctor. That kind of ticked me off a little bit. Okay. Oh yes, you just got a new PCP. Okay, I just saw it. You just got a new PCP. I pray that she will keep a better check. Yes, ma'am. I definitely know the routes to take, but they are a doctor's office where you see a different doctor every time. Oh. So sometimes when you had a different doctor, maybe stuff slipped through the cracks, maybe. But I mean, if it's an office where it's multiple providers, the chart should still be the same. Are they not reviewing the whole chart? I don't know. I'm glad you got a new PCP, and hopefully, just what I'll say, Amanda, is for this primary care provider, if they're staying on top of things, you should have, every time you are there, it shouldn't just be you need a refill on your medication. These are your labs. When you have your labs, you should be able to go over, they should go over your labs, or what they do is they'll mail you your labs. Look at your labs and see if there's any abnormalities. If these labs were worse than before, or if they were different, keep track of your labs yourself. Be your own advocate. If your kidney function has increased a point, maybe you need to talk about that with your provider. If it's something that can be decreased, see from there. So I'm glad you got a new primary care provider, because that one saying, oh yeah, you have, no, don't do that. Don't assume that I know what I have when an ER doctor told me. No. Okay. Depends on IUD, Marina, or I had the Marina IUD to answer that. Okay, let me see. I have a lot of other health issues, so I wonder why the labs are being ignored. I don't know, Amanda. They shouldn't be. But tell me this, Amanda. When you get your labs done, are you getting a print off? If you are not, start getting a print off so you can look at what's being done and you can see if you're in a normal range. The lab print off will tell you if there's a normal range or if it's under or if it's lower or if it's high. You want to advocate for yourself because it looks like whatever provider is over you are they're not doing their part at all, or they're doing bare minimal. That's why I said healthcare needs a change. We have to advocate for ourselves, or we have to have somebody that's actually there to help us in that situation, because we're assuming that the provider is doing everything that they can and they're explaining everything, but they're not. Maybe they're too busy, or maybe it's overlooked, or maybe they think it's not significant enough. But if you are in a preventative mode, if they see something that's spiking, say, hey, maybe you need to do this or do that, and then we can follow up and give your body some time to actually heal itself while you're doing the right thing, and see in 6 months or a year if it's progressing, or so it just upsets me. I'm sorry, Amanda. That upset me that you have all of these issues and labs are getting ignored. I don't know. I have a phobia from going to ER to because of the sonographer actually went into my records and called my house. What? Why are they doing that? So the person that does the ultrasound called your house. Was it for results? I mean, it's good that they're following up if it's for results, but I don't know. Okay, healthcare in the third world countries. What? Healthcare in third world countries like USA. I don't get that question. It's missing something. Watermelon. You need a nephrologist or urologist. Yep. Amanda. Yes, ma'am. I have totally switched to water, and smart water is the best, and I add liquid IV sometimes. Powerade and ginger ale are the only thing I can drink. Okay. Yes, that's what I was thinking, but so many people say a nephrologist is for stage 3 and 4. But I feel like I need a specialist that has studied that. I'll keep you posted. Okay. If it's for stage 3 and 4, okay. Um, See what this new primary care is doing with your kidney disease, to see if something can be done to help it, because that other one wasn't doing their part. Okay. A diabetic class is a great idea too. I learned how to eat properly and lower A1C on your own. Yes. Yes, absolutely. You can do a lot of things on your own, but you have to educate yourself first on what to do. Subscribe and like. Thanks, Amanda. Appreciate that. I'm going to call tomorrow. Well, Monday. Yes. Okay. Primary care will not normally refer to specialists unless it's stage 3 or if the patient requests it. So ask for a referral. Yes, that's what I was saying. Ask for a referral because you're concerned. You have all of these different things. Can I get a referral for this? Especially if your hemoglobin is dropping. What's going on with that? Ask, can I be referred to a specialist for that? And I'm not sure if this is something that constantly happens, Amanda, but you definitely need to go to a specialist for that. If you have to wait until your kidney disease progresses to another step, it is what it is. But I will do my research to see what can be done, or just ask your new primary care physician, like, what can be done in this scenario? Like, how can I make things better? Because, like I said, in medical school, they teach the doctors about pharmaceuticals. Not everyone is going to be holistic. And it's okay. Some people don't want to eat certain things. They rather pop a pill. When I worked in transplant, as a coordinator, there were people that I gave them a list of things they could eat to boost these levels. And the patient literally was like, I'd rather take a pill for it. Okay. You have all these different options, and you just say, go ahead and have the doctor subscribe it to me. I'd rather just pop a pill for it. I don't want to eat that. Okay. People can do it exactly what they want to do. Okay. Let me go back. I missed some stuff. Ask for abundant creatinine in 24-hour urine. Yes. I only urinate like 2 times a day, but drink a lot of water. Amanda, yeah. That's a lot of fluid still in your body. If you only going twice a day, and how much water do you drink? Like, are you drinking a gallon? Are you drinking so many ounces? Yeah, you need. They need to help you, because you shouldn't be urinating only twice a day. Okay, Ari and getting my AD in. Okay, awesome. We'll go to NP after, but age is a factor. Time waits for no nurse. Absolutely, but you still can go. I mean, I don't want you to tell me your age if you don't want to, but I mean, I went to RN school with people that were in their 50s. Um and there are people that are all ages going to be an NP if you desire to do it. Let me see. Totally believe in the Marina IUD. I had it for 5 years. Yep. Watch the sinuses. Yes, Lasix doesn't help much. I have CHF, so I can't take Lasix every day. Yep. Okay. I have another pill that I take with Lasix at least once a week. I need a kidney doctor, period. You do. You do. Very true. Simple is best. Amanda, if you have CHF, you cannot drink lots of water. That is why you're dealing with edema. Mm-hmm. So you need to be around people that educate you on what you're doing. Ask your new primary care physician. Can I be set up with do you have a nutritionist that you could refer me to that will help me with my CHF, my low hemoglobin, my kidney disease? Is there any type of education for me to get from you to help me to live my life a bit better? Stuff like that, because it seems like you need somebody there that can give you more information on what's needed and not just handing you a pill. Okay. Let's see. Definitely our job is to educate and advocate. Yes. Um, keep a pad and have a second person in the room for another set of ears. Be honest. Yes, absolutely. I feel so blessed to know medical terminology. I don't be afraid to ask a doctor. They are human and make mistakes too. Absolutely. Everybody is human and make mistakes. It just all depends on if they're willing to fess up to that mistake or correct the mistake, or should they sweep it under the rug, which I hope people are not doing, but it does happen. Okay. For instance, one time I was in the ICU, my hemoglobin, and for my hemoglobin, I had my fiance not being in there, and they would give me, they would have gave me expired or not my blood type. Ask questions. Huh? Wait a minute. Had my fiance not been in there, they would have gave me expired or not my blood type. You had your hysterectomy finally. Okay. Last May I had it done. It took 3 years to see a gynecologist. Why did it take 3 years to see a gynecologist? You should be able to, as a woman, you should be able to have a gynecologist in general. if you are sexually active, if so teenagers can see gynecologists to get pap smears and stuff like that. If you've had children, if not, women should be able to see a gynecologist. Your insurance should cover that. It shouldn't have taken 3 years to see one. I don't know the protocol where you are, if it's something different, but I was seeing a gynecologist when I was like in my 20s. Um, Early 20, like 20 on the nose. Yes. So it shouldn't have taken 3 years. I don't know why. Everybody's situation is different. Okay, Sam Morris. Hello. Um, Student nurse Bay Shay Young. Okay, as a student nurse, I'm a student nurse, graduated in January of 2025. I've been a CNA for over 12 years. It's hard, yes. I want to make good money, but I'm in it for my purpose. How do I do it with these RNs who want to probably eat their young? So, Shay, I'm just going to say Shay, you graduating in how many months? What is this? August, September, October, November, December, January. You graduating in 5 months. What I will recommend, Shay, if you're a CNA currently for 12 years at the facility that you're working at, it depends. If the nurse is there, if they take you up under their wing, cool. Stay where you are. But if they're messy, you may want to do a fresh start somewhere else, because nurses do eat their young, unfortunately, and it's terrible, but you're not going to get away from that. You just hold your head up high. You use whatever orientation you have as a learning experience. You take your CNA stuff and you elevate it, because you way above with your RN. Okay? Never forget where you came from, because there's going to be times where you have to do CNA stuff as an RN. I've done it. And make sure that you always are a team player, not team player, but you do teamwork with your fellow CNAs. If you need them to help you do something, say, hey, I need you to put somebody on the bedpan. Or, hey, I put somebody on the bedpan. Can you check on them in 5 minutes to take them off? It's still a team effort. Just because you leveled up, you still remember where you came from. But sometimes some nurses are out there to eat their young, and some intentionally want to educate you to make things, to make sure that you have the right foundation in that facility that you're working. So don't take it harsh when someone's trying to correct something, because sometimes people will get an attitude when they're corrected, but somebody is actually trying to be helpful. So go in with a clear mind and an open heart. Listen to the ones that, and find someone there that you're working at to be like a nurse mentor. So if you have questions, you have a go-to. So, and just ask, hey, can you kind of be my mentor? Because I'm a new nurse, I'm a new RN. I have experience as a CNA for 12 years. I've been in healthcare, for over a decade. But I need help with my nurse judgment and what to do in certain situations. Can you help me? If it's the right person, I'm sure they'll be fine with taking you up under their wing. Okay. Let's see. Do you recommend any IUD options that are not placed in the uterus, as it makes me fearful? I don't, because I don't take any birth control at all. I had an IUD the old-fashioned way in the uterus. But no, I don't recommend anything, because I don't take it. I don't take any of it. So I'm sorry, Hill. I'm not sure if those previous brands mentioned have those options. You know what? If you have questions about it, Google is a good place to look and do your research. And then after you do your research, you go to the provider and ask, because they're going to want to know what you want to do. They can recommend, but you have to be comfortable with what you're putting in your body. So you definitely do your research. Okay. I also have numerous stomach issues, like waking up feeling nauseous every morning, and don't have a primary care appointment until January of next year. Hell, when you have issues, do your doctor's office have like a nurse line where you can call? You can call and leave a message with the nurse, and the nurse will get that information over to the doctor. I mean, you shouldn't have to wait until January to get a question answered. If you are having some stomach issues where you're feeling nauseous when you wake up, you should call your doctor and let them know that. Is it something based on what you eat? Have you eaten something differently? Is this something that's common that's there for you? Is it a side effect to some medication that you're already taking? It could be a lot of different things. Okay. I can't help you for that addiction. Sorry. Okay, hell, I'm not sure if this is due to my diet or adverse taste and texture issues or something else, but I had a hard time gaining weight, and I'm 85 pounds, 5'2", and 21 years old. Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't really diagnose you because I'm not a provider, not your provider, but I definitely think that if your doctor knows about this, you need to give that doctor's office a call on Monday to leave a message with the nurse to see what can be done. Maybe they can bring you in to see you, because maybe you have an annual follow up in January, which is 5 months. That's a long time to be dealing with issues that you have concerns with. So definitely call your primary to see what can be done. Okay, I'm depressed. I'm sorry that you're depressed. Hopefully you get the help that you need, because depression is no joke. Yes, seek therapy and perhaps psychiatric help in order to address these. Support groups are also helpful. Yes. Yes, my friend is 52 and just passed the NCLEX. She helps me at 37, and it's all the support you can do. Uh, it's all about the support you can do. Keep going. Yep. Mm-hmm. Of course, my dog will bark. Okay. Let me keep going. And while y'all are watching, if y'all have seen my content, if I'm giving you the information that you need, if you like what I'm saying, because I have millions of people that watch my channel and y'all are not subscribed. So feel free to subscribe. Give me a like on this video because it helps to boost this video into the algorithm. I appreciate you guys for even taking the time to sit down with me on this Saturday afternoon to have this discussion. Okay. Skipping some of that. Nathaniel, you said to wash my hair. So if you've been looking at my channel, my hair was twist. And if you know about natural hair, the style from twist is a twist out. My hair is none of your concern, but if you wanted me to give you a little bit of attention on this video, there you go. That's all you gonna get. All right. I'm working now at a student nurse intern. I tell people to do that all the time. I'm glad you are a student nurse intern alongside of nurses, but it's med surg, and I don't like to. So okay, you're a student nurse intern at a med surg floor. You don't want to do med surg. I don't blame you. I didn't do med surg either. Think about okay, so you're already in a hospital, so that'll be good on your resume when you pass boards and you are because just because you're a student nurse intern don't mean that there's going to be an opening for you in that department at the time that you graduate and take boards. What I will recommend is You know, make sure you put that on your resume that you were a student nurse intern in that hospital. You can stay at that hospital and go to a different department, and you'll be totally fine. But when nurses eat their young, it can happen anywhere. It's just you stay strong and confident in yourself, and you write down some information to help you to grow and grow your nurse knowledge, because you're going to definitely learn every day that you're a nurse. You're learning something new. Okay. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm doing that. I never do, and I see it not working off my CNA as a student nurse intern. I really want ICU, NICU, or labor and delivery. I want to keep going. Okay, so if you want to do that, when I was in the ICU, I precepted a new nurse. I thought that back when that they didn't accept new nurses in the ICU, but they do. So if you want to go into any of those roles, feel free to do so. It does not have to be med surge. Okay, thank you for the advice. I will definitely look into these options. I appreciate it. You're welcome. Okay, ooh, I'm missing some stuff. Let me scroll down. Um, any advice on why I used to have IBS when I was younger, but now I have a problem with constipation. It can go a week sometimes. I started pre and probiotics, and they haven't helped. They have helped, but not consistently. I don't know, Amanda. Again, I'm not a provider. Um, but if you're constipated, are you walking around a lot? Are you mobile? And make sure if you have constipation that you have fiber rich foods to help clean you out. If you're eating on a consistent basis and it's not you not having daily bowel movements, to be honest, some people have twice a day or 3 times a day bowel movements. When you eat a meal, it should be it should be wasted to not that same meal, but whatever is still in your intestines, that pushes that down, and it could be a bowel movement. But everybody don't have a bowel movement after every meal. And some people think constipation is not having a bowel movement for one day. A lot of these providers will say, oh, well, you may just go every other day. But consistent bowel movements after every meal is healthy. But make sure you look at what you eat. Because if it's not fiber in it, and it doesn't go against any medications that you're doing, you need to make sure that you're eating fiber rich foods to flush out your system. You're drinking enough water, so that's good. But if you're constipated, you need to do a little bit more mobility, walking around. Because think about if you've taken a long walk, say you've eaten a meal and you went for a walk, it makes your body burn and digest a little bit more as you're moving. Whatever is in your system is kind of going down. Is going down into your digestive tract, and a bowel movement can happen. So I would say to increase your mobility if you can, and increase your fiber in your foods. Okay. Oh, this water is saving me here. Okay. Salute. I love your content. Thank you. Hopefully you're subscribed. I appreciate you for saying that. Your hair is gorgeous and naturally beautiful. Thank you, Amanda. People are always going to say little stuff on social media. They're going to say stuff because people type behind a computer and doesn't see someone face to face. So that don't really bother me, and I appreciate you for saying that. Let me see. Yes, it is natural and growing. Love her hair. Thank you so much, Shay. I think, and I mentioned this before on another video, but what I was doing, because when I traveled, I stopped travel nursing the beginning of this year because I was trying to do something. I'm doing something with my husband and I have to have a steady income. So what I was what I told myself was, because I would have braids, I would have crochet braids, box braids, I would throw a wig on, because with travel, you may not have, with natural hair, you may do your hair, let it air dry, and you may not have gaps in between to actually let your hair fully dry and to be in a nice style. So I would kind of like braid my hair and throw a wig on, or I would braid it up so I don't have to worry about doing anything with it for a month, or throwing a wig on or whatever. So I told myself that this year I will not put a wig, put any braids in my hair, crochets, none of that. And it's hurting me. It's hurting me so bad because I want to do it so bad, but I'm trying to let my scalp breathe. I'm trying to let my hair grow, and I'm trying to make sure that I keep my hair healthy, because my hair would grow, but since I didn't, keep it trimmed every so often, when I did get my hair flat ironed and trimmed, they would trim off a lot because my ends were so dead from keeping it under braids and stuff like that. So it's a struggle. It's August, 8 months in. I've been doing my part. So thank you guys. All right. Sorry to ask so many questions, but second opinions help me anyway. Thanks for your time. Oh yeah, ask whatever questions you need to. Second opinions, if people have that knowledge, is perfect. I know, all nurses don't know everything. They only know the stuff that they encounter with certain scenarios, or they may do certain things for themselves. So you may hear certain things that may be beneficial for them. It may not always be beneficial for you, but you definitely do your research. That's beneficial for anybody. And make sure that you reach out to your provider to see if there's something that they can help you with, even if it's just you switching up your food, you know? And doctors are not always trained in nutrition. They have specialists for that. So if they have resources for you to help you with nutrition, why not? Okay. I look like I'm 22. Thank you. I appreciate that. Even though I'm not. Okay. Drink a lot of water, avoid dairy, eat green leafy vegetables. You know what? Easier said than done. I can do it 100% because I was a vegan for years. I just got into dabbling in a little bit of dairy recently, but everybody can't avoid dairy. Some people are just, I gotta have my cheese. I gotta have, it's milk in everything. It's in bread. It's in chips. It's in a lot of things that you fail to realize until you start looking at labels. So dairy actually is not the best thing, because you know what, that's a whole nother subject. But I do a little bit of minimal dairy. Like if we have mac and cheese here and there, I'll do that. Or if we shred a block of cheese and put it on one of our plant-based burgers for it to melt on there, we do that because vegan cheese doesn't really melt that good. But yeah, so no dairy is actually good, because mucus forms from dairy, and mucus in your body causes a lot of issues, and providers don't mention that. So you right about that. Avoid dairy. Is it one sister? Okay. Oh yeah, I want to travel one day. You motivate me. I'm natural too. I love to wear my bush. Good. You know what? I love when I see natural individuals. I mean, you don't even have to be in healthcare. I can see you at the store, the gas station. I love it. And I want to wear like little shirts that have little natural people with natural hairstyles on it. I think my thumbnail that I made, I had another shirt on and it was somebody with dreads. I just love natural hair. Like I stayed away from perms because it made my hair look see-through. Like when my hair was down and curled, I mean, you could literally see through the back of my hair. It would break off, you know. And with natural, my natural hair is a lot thicker, of course. It doesn't break off. This is me just taking my twist out. Wait until this stuff get thick. And so I love it. I love it. Okay. Let me see. I enjoy talking with you a lot. I subscribe. Thanks, Amanda. Liked and love your content. Thank you so much, Amanda. And I hope the best for you. I hope you get whatever questions answered from your provider, because that is their job to make sure that you are in the know. But if they don't, go to Google and start doing research and healthier ways to do certain things. Of course, you do need to reach out to your provider to say, hey, what should I do with this? Because if you're on medications and you're doing something that may contradict or interfere with your medications, be cautious, but definitely do your research. Anybody else have any questions? And thank you for that comment, DR or doctor, whatever you want to say. My husband loves them too. All right, you should make your own merch. Ladies with natural hair with cute wording. Just an idea. So Amanda, I'm going to tell you something. When I was in nursing school, I had a brand called Unique Beauty. And there was shirts, dresses, long sleeve shirts. I didn't do hoodies. Was it hoodies? I did dresses, short sleeve shirts, tank tops, long sleeve shirts. And it was a silhouette of me with my natural hair and my brand of Unique Beauty. And because I'm a hustler, okay? So I'm going to always have multiple streams of income, because this is the world that we live in, and it's never going to be enough out there for you to take care of family, to feed family, clothe, take care of dogs, cats, all of that stuff that I have to do with one income. So I knew that back when I didn't even have a nurse income. I had this brand. I even made earrings, and I would sell that merch. Now, right now, what I have is just my my scrub line, and I believe every time you see a short, I'm not sure if it's a part of this live, but every time you see one of my shorts, when you click that shop, that's my online scrub store. I have accessories, I have highlighters that's in a syringe, that's 50% off. I have badge reels, that's 50% off. I have a lot of those scrubs that you see me wear with the half zipper, or the pleated one with the tie, or the tulip shirt, all on my website. So a lot of those that I have right now are 50% off. My newer scrubs, like the ones with my jacket, those are full price. But I have merch. But I don't have the natural hair merch anymore. I did do it though. It did help me to pay some bills, and it was helpful. Okay. Let's see. Get it, girl. Make that merch, boss babe. Amen. Sister, be blessed. I'll be seeing you up there. All right. Okay. Let's see. Student nurse Bay Shay. Okay. I've been since I've been probably in nursing school, I keep getting sick. I'm getting over bronchitis. In January, I was on break. I had the flu, and I start class in 3 weeks. I feel better, but you right, it's a lot of mucus. And you know what? Sometimes when you're working in the medical field, you come across a lot of sick people. And back when I was in school, I didn't necessarily get sick, but you come across sick people, and you know, and I'm not talking about COVID sick. I'm talking about somebody having a flu in the hospital and you're taking care of them. Someone that may have a cold around you. Somebody that has whatever and is contagious. It happens. So you have to make sure you build up your immune system. You take your vitamins while you're taking care of yourself and your patients. But it's unfortunate that, yeah, you get sick out here. Okay, up my NPC and my body is in fight and flight. Yeah, fight or flight at the time for school. People don't understand it's hard on your health. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think I was saying that before I even read your statement, Shay. It's hard on your body. It is. Going through school is hard on your body. You stressed out. You taking tests all the time. You taking medical math. You taking care of patients for free. You have to make ends meet at home because you got to work if you don't already have money to pay bills. You got to deal with family. You got to deal with friends that's like, you don't ever hang out. It's stressful. So once you get everything going, you'll be fine. But you got to get into that rhythm. And once you get into that rhythm of, hey, see me in 2 years to get my associates, or see me when I'm on my break type deal. If you're not writing a paper for the following week, then you'll be fine. But you almost done. You got 5 months. So yes, it's definitely a toll. It's difficult. And you almost there. You are almost there. Anybody else want to do a comment, question, or concern? Feel free to do so. I'm going to check one thing on my phone that's there. I want to make sure that my battery is good. Okay, good. Perfect. All right, so uh-oh, I hit something. Okay, I'm good. All right, so anything else anybody else want to talk about? It's over 100 plus, 130 plus people in here. And if you want to talk, come on, I got time. I got my phone is charged up. I got my laptop right here to look. And if anybody want to talk about, yes, I am Dean. I'm a nurse. Are you in healthcare, Dean? Chris, you just said potato. You just wanted to say that? Okay, appreciate that. Good videos and good vibes. Just discover your content, male nurse in long term slash rehab. Love the work, but it's different for men working with so many women. Okay, B. Davidson. I'm gonna ask you some questions. I think, and it's just my opinion. Um, I think actually working as a nurse with a male nurse is a little bit easier. I not saying that working with women is hard, but women can be catty. When it's a male nurse, I don't say I cling to them, but it's like, oh, that's one of the bros. Okay, cool. I don't have to worry about drama because men usually don't do that drama thing like women do. And, y'all always seem so calm, cool, and collective. We'll be all stressed out, but y'all be so cool, like nothing bothers y'all. Or if it does bother you, it do for a split second and then y'all back to whatever y'all doing. With women, we hold on to it a little bit more. So how is it different with working with so many women? That's my question for you. I love working with male nurses though, because y'all are cool. I, but I mean, I work with a lot of female nurses currently. So, and some of them are cool and some of them aren't. But I don't know, just having a male nurse around is awesome because y'all whole demeanor is different. Okay. Um, let's see. Nah, I'm an advanced threat analyst. I stopped state-sponsored hackers from robbing a really big bank. What? Okay. Um, if this is true, because Dean, if this is what you truly do, big ups to you. But I know people be coming in the comments saying all type of stuff, so that's why I gave that what. But if you are an advanced threat analyst, that sounds like a cool job. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Yes, I am broke. I have, and God has got me this far. I just really want to share my story and help someone one day with it. Thank you for all you do. Girl, Shay, I understand broke for real. Like broke. Before nursing school broke. Like with two little infants, like two a toddler and an infant broke on state assistance broke. So I did that chuckle because I've been there. With nursing school, it's different. You only can work so much as a student intern. You still got bills to pay unless you living with family. But even with family, you still got a cell phone bill to pay, right? If you got a car, you need to put gas in your tank, get your oil changed. I'm sure you gotta feed yourself. So I mean, it's difficult. Um, and if you have children, you got children to feed too. So people was looking at me when I was in nursing school, like from a distance, maybe my Facebook friends or something like that. Back then it was just Facebook. People wasn't really, well, no, Instagram too, but it wasn't no TikTok or none of that. So people were really looking at me like, wow, you are really going to nursing school with two elementary school kids. Absolutely. Because that was my drive to keep going. I needed something better for my daughters, and I was a phlebotomist then. So I needed to do something better to help patients more than just drawing blood. And also, I needed to make sure that I created a better quality of life for my daughters because I couldn't afford certain things. Being that I leveled myself up to make more money, I can now help patients. I can now make money while I'm helping patients. And then I can educate and share knowledge now with y'all because I have that nurse knowledge. Now, nurses don't know everything. So, it may be some things that you do know, some things you don't know, but sometimes you can just say, maybe you should see this type of physician, or maybe you should do this. So, I'm blessed that where I am right now. Um, and I'm happy that I wasn't afraid to start this channel to speak to the audience because I like having interactive conversations with everyone in regards to things that I do know. But it's so many misconceptions in healthcare, and I believe in showing the stuff that's out there. Why you need to look out for people, look out for people that's in skilled nursing facilities. You need to be an advocate for a family member that may be in a hospital that don't really have a medical background. If you have that, you need to kudos to the people that is doing great at what they do and taking care of patients like we all should. um you know Air out the footage of providers not listening to their patient and using vacuums that's beyond the 3 mark cutoff, and using a vacuum suction to get a baby out of the birth canal 15 times. But do everybody even know the time, the that vacuum suction, the protocol with it? Everybody don't know. So some stuff I'll share with the channel, whether you're subscribed or not. If you see it, you get the information. If it's incorrect, I'll correct it in a video. Or if it was something totally that need to be discussed, like right now with the beginning of the live, with the whole situation with Terrence, it was some stuff that needed to be discussed, for sure. And I believe that the family just didn't know everything. Maybe some things were discussed with them that wasn't put in layman's terms. Maybe they said you know, your loved one is had a brain injury and didn't say they were brain dead, because brain injury, you think of, okay, neurology. Let's see a brain doctor. Maybe, you know, hey, it's not looking good. We're going to pull the plug in so many hours. If you want to transfer, you need to hurry up and do that. Maybe they were given false hope. We'll never know a situation because the hospital won't say anything. So all you can do is assume. The unfortunate thing is the gentleman did die. They called the police on them for trespassing, but I looked through videos. The father said to the family to call the police, and that was something that they did. The police didn't come for them. The police came for the hospital to take them out to say they're trespassing. You can't make that up. That didn't make any sense for the father and the mother to do chest compressions if the patient had a heart rate. But I don't believe they were medical professionals. They just wanted him to stay alive enough for them to transfer him or for his heart to keep going. If the ventilator was cut off, then that means somebody pulled the plug, right? And there's no oxygen. Now, if the boy had a tube, he was intubated, right? Intubated. And like I said earlier, I've mentioned extubated, and people were checking me about my terminology when I bring a little bit of nurse jargon or healthcare jargon in there. He wasn't extubated, meaning the tube wasn't removed, but he was on a ventilator and he was intubated, but the ventilator was off. So being that the ventilator was off and the tube was still there, how was they going to give this gentleman air to oxygenate his body? They weren't, unless they knew how to take off an ambu bag and hook it up and squeeze it themselves. So the whole scenario was wrong. It was recorded when they were trying to save him, but a lot of people were saying it was already too late. That's not our thing to judge. We are not there. And maybe, I don't know, maybe some people from that hospital had commented in there, because I got over about 6,000 comments, and it was some people that sounded like they were a part of it. It was some people that said they were there that day in the hospital. But you never know who is watching. So allegedly, all of this stuff that I said in the video of it was no DNR discussed. Remember, you don't have to be your license. People saying I'm removing a organ donor from my license. They'll still ask you. It don't even matter. They're not looking at your ID when they're trying to save your life. So anybody else? He definitely I believe in my whole heart, because people tend to say words that are softer to make it sound easier for the patient's family to understand. But when the mother said brain injury, I think someone said that to be a little bit sweet. The gentleman was brain dead. He was brain dead. And you can do certain little twitches and moves while you're brain dead. And they didn't want to let him go. They had high hopes because somebody said brain injury when really he was brain dead. So, I mean, it's a lose-lose situation, and they didn't even give enough time to even transfer the gentleman over because they pulled the plug. So, anybody else want to talk about other things? Feel free to do so. And I hope that's not my little one coming downstairs. She gonna just interrupt everything. Okay. Let's see. Let me go back up to this. Caddy, I have to keep the unit at baseline and the attitudes on and off. Yeah, it happens. But do anybody, B. Davidson, do anybody appreciate you for being there? I mean, they probably use you for your strength to help move a patient or move them around, but do anybody actually say they appreciate you while you working with them? Let me know in the comments. Okay, nice shirt. Thank you. Hey, I am okay, I'm not reading none of that. Is that someone that plays what? Okay. Next. Yes, indeed, you are an angel. Thank you. Right, I cried when I heard that story. It's just sad. I may become a midwife. I saw that on your page too. I was I was so mad. Wait, you said a midwife. Jim, that's you? Yeah, I'm just gonna do my dryer. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, that is it. Healthcare, it needs a change, a big change, for the better. I don't know when that's gonna happen, but it needs to happen yesterday. Okay, CPR was elevated. It wasn't all wrong. That broke my heart. I sent it to other classmates. He was brain dead. I believe if he was brain dead, he doesn't have to be DNR. He is technically legally dead. They will not give interventions. So Imani, I believe he was. I believe, but I let the part of the video where the mom was saying he had a brain injury, I let her speak because that's their story. If they cut off the ventilator, and family is doing compressions, it it's a lose-lose. Like, family shouldn't have to do compressions. So that whole video just looked a little off. But when he went live and said certain things. The Terrence's dad, and it was just odd to see them doing compressions on their son. So we didn't see what was discussed. We just heard their stories. And maybe they weren't trying to hear what the doctor was saying or what the nurse was saying about his condition. He was hit by a car. Now, some people that are hit by cars bounce back up and it's no issue. Some people that's hit by a car are in critical condition, and this is what happened with Terrence. So we'll never know what that is unless somebody actually come out and discuss, what was happening. But if he was brain dead, of course, that's why they were talking about organs. And if they got his organs, yes. And then I remember seeing somebody in the comments, because I see all of the comments. If I put a heart on it, I've read it. Even if it's long, I may have skimmed through it. I'm acknowledging that I'm seeing your comment. I saw somebody say, avoid the autopsy. Avoid the autopsy because they're going to try to take organs. How are you going to know what's going on without an autopsy? Let me know that. Somebody comment. If you want to know if it was foul play, would you opt out of an autopsy? I wouldn't. Let me know if you would or wouldn't. That's just my opinion, though. Okay, and especially with so I made the comment of the syringe, flushing whatever IV line, and the sister was like, "What's that?" And he said, "Oh, it's saline." But he had saline hanging, so people were in the comments, "Oh, we flush lines all the time." I know that. I've been flushing lines for years. But what was put in that IV to where you doing it while the family is gone? Remember, the sister was walking in. Nobody was in the room. He said it was just saline. But it's a saline drip already. If he got pushed, if they got some type of medication through it, if it was an autopsy, you would be able to check certain things. But it's up to the family. It's just unfortunate to see a 19-year-old go through that, because he was out trying to help somebody, and got hit. It's tragic. And you know, it's even the nurse that was in there that was on his phone and chewing the gum and stuff like that. I only showed a snippet of it, but he was actually there. He didn't do CPR. He probably was instructed not to do CPR on the patient. Um, but he was there, and he was actually like looking in, and he was kind of looking and looking at the patient to see if there were any type of facial movements and stuff like that. He was actually there for a little bit. I just caught him where he was walking around in the back, and he was walking around in the back for a while too. But it's just that whole situation is so unfortunate, and I believe that more education needs to be done, and everybody that's in a medical field knows you need to educate the unknown to the patient, and people fall short of it. You need to be blunt at times when, hey, this is happening, this is going to happen, there's minimal chance of this reversing, in my opinion, blah, blah, blah. Say that. Don't give people false hope if you're going to pull a plug. Okay, let me look at these comments. Such a tragic story. Yes, it was. Irish, as a RN, let me tell you that my CNAs are everything. Truly the backbone and blood of the hospital. Yes, they are. And you know what? You can't do nothing without your CNA, because as a if you're taking care of a patient as a whole, you're gonna need help. That CNA is gonna be your help. And instead of saying, "Oh, well, can you do all of this?" and you walk away and you sit down, help that CNA. It's a team effort. It is a team effort. You can't do everything by yourself if you wanted to. You could, but why should you? You should do it as a team. Less stress on your body, and you have somebody, if you in a pinch and you need help with something, you can call on them because they know that you work with them, that you working together. It's not like they gonna run away from you because you just barking out orders. They hate that. Work with them. Okay. Looked like a tragedy no matter what. Yes, it did. It was a lose-lose situation because I don't think the family had enough money to get the gentleman over to another hospital to see a neurologist for the brain injury that they were told. Um, it just they weren't trying to. I don't think they were trying to do anything in North Carolina. They were trying to go back to Texas, where they're from, to get him treatment, but that's costly. I don't know if he would have had to get a chopper or something like that, because I don't think any ambulance is going to do that unless you pay them all of this money up front. But it was just a lose-lose situation, and it didn't make it any better. It didn't make it any better that, the mom was saying they talking about organs. So it made everybody think, oh, well, they just want him because he young, black, healthy, athletic kid to let him die for his organs. And that probably wasn't the case. But that's what it was portrayed. So I just wanted to clear all of that out. That's a process when you're in the ICU. They ask about that. Okay, he could have had multiple lumens and getting a flush to keep the other lumens open. I don't know. Especially if he was an organ donor. There's a lot of prep before organ donation. So Imani, let me tell you. I'm sure you saw probably part 1 and part 2. But if he was getting something flushed, that's fine. If he was an organ donator, they wouldn't have cut the ventilator off. Remember when they do those walks where, it's a patient that is, in transition, and they have the ventilator keeping them awake. Maybe they're on pressors to keep their heart, to keep their vitals stable. They're on drips. And the honor walk, yes. So remember the honor walk. Do you see somebody going down without a ventilator or oxygen in the body? Do you see that? I don't. It may not be a ventilator. It may be a nasal cannula. It may be um, a why did I go blank? The oxygen mask. It may be that, but I don't see anybody that just goes with not being hooked up with anything. And when the dad in the video, because I couldn't put all of that in one snippet, I just got the bulk of it and I cut it up. When he said this thing ain't even giving any air, he literally held up the tubing in the ventilator lightly and dropped it down. You can tell when a ventilator is on because you see all of the numbers. You can tell if a patient is trying to breathe on top of the ventilator because you'll hear doo doo doo. Wait, I'm getting dry. Doo 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 doo. Those sounds never go away when you work in the ICU. You know what that sound means. So non-rebreather, thank you. You usually see some type of oxygenation in the body. So if he was an organ donor, they ruined it. And even if they tried to do organ donation after they did 30 plus minutes of CPR on this young man and there was no oxygen, when they open him up, if he was an organ donor and they see, because I've worked in transplant, when they open him up and they look at the organs, right? I did kidney transplant. The surgeons look at the organs. Everybody that donates organs, even though you're in the process of donating them, they're not always viable organs. So when they open up and look, they can see if it's a healthy organ. So even if he was an organ donor, they cut the ventilator off. Nobody was giving him oxygen. They just pretty much let him go because he was brain dead. Maybe they gave him something to ease his pain, to let him transition. In the ICU, I've given a morphine drip, but that was her wishes. I hated it because I want people to live, but that was her wishes. So the nurses was like, you're supposed to bump it up every hour. It was on 1 milligram because I didn't want to do it, but I did it because it was her wishes. So I increased it. I let the husband know when it was time for her to transition. I woke him up. I said, say your last wishes. And it was such a beautiful moment because he said that I love yous and he hugged her. He said some tears and you can see the monitor where her vitals were trickling down and her oxygen was trickling down. And it was just so sad. I didn't get into nursing for that. So hospice nurses, big ups to you because I want to see people to thrive. And she turned hospice in the ICU and they didn't have any beds. So that became my job. So let me look at these because I'm running my mouth and I need to catch up on the comments. Okay, we have to be a team. I was looking at that different. Okay, we have to be a team. No one is better than. Yes, absolutely. Oh, his vent was off. Yes. Now rebreather. Thank you for that. Organs need to be oxygenated and perfused prior to organ donation, 100%. And being that the oxygen was not on, and I know for a fact if he said the oxygen wasn't off and he said something about them cutting it off on the outside, I don't know if they have a switch or something like that, but usually it's plugged in the inside. For them to say the oxygen is not off, and I literally saw him doing compressions for 30 minutes. That's a strong-willed person switching with his wife. Those organs are not being used at all. Okay. Let me see. Poor lady had to grow up in white America. You could hear the anger. You don't know what you're talking about. Tell me what I'm not talking about, Marilyn. You are, Maryland cops and corrupt. Look at that name. Okay. Um, you're supposed to bump it up. Who are you to play God? So actually, I did, and to be honest, that was my first day off of orientation on that unit. So I came from the ER where we save people, and then I went into the ICU. So I saw this lady laughing and giggling with family, and then cancer went all over her body up to her brain, and she wanted to just end her life. So I respected her wishes. I let the insulin drip go on 1 milligram for maybe 2 hours. And being that I was new and I've never done it before, I asked, and they said, "Oh, you're supposed to bump it up every hour." So, being that I asked one of the more seasoned ICU nurses, I did bump it up. But I made sure that the husband was there to say his goodbyes when she was going through that. And she did pass halfway through my shift. Family did come to see her. I gave them a little bit more time than usual because usually you only have an hour. I gave them a little bit more time, but I cleaned her up. I said a prayer, and I was happy that I was able to do that for her, as well as the husband being there during her last moments. So nobody is playing God. I just didn't know. So when I asked and inquired, I was told, and I increased it. So thanks for judging me, but I gave you the real tea on what happened. Okay. I hate to say it, but you probably needed the bed for another patient. Um, the patient refused to, could not come to terms with stopping treatment. They extubated the patient. The family came in and did CPR. Um, please, let's not blame healthcare providers. We hate losing patients. Uh, I clearly told you that I didn't want to lose that my first patient that I had to increase my morphine. So I don't know, Imani, if you heard when I was talking about the education of providers. They need to sometimes just be a little more blunt. And if it's something that they're giving false hope for, they shouldn't if they're not going to help in that area. I believe that some people will respect you more if you give them the 100% truth than to sugarcoat something to make you feel like there's hope there while you're in a room with them and then you walk away. That's not what you should do. Again, we don't know. These people were faith based, they were very prayerful. You could hear the mom singing hymns when she was doing CPR on her son. Now, it's a lot of people to blame, to be honest. It's healthcare workers. They're the blame in that situation because they probably softly said some things. So the family, if they didn't want to give up on their son, which nobody wants to give up on your son, that was just a healthy human being that was out to help somebody. The family, they took matter in their own hands, but they didn't really know everything to do to keep him up. If he didn't have oxygen, he needed oxygen too. So they called the police because I don't know, because they didn't show this. I don't know if they said, please stop compressions. We're going to let him transition. You don't, your child is still 19, is still a teenage human being that should be growing up to be successful, grow older, have kids, grandkids if they desire, right? So they're holding on to that. But they were doing things that they thought would be helpful, but the angle of the bed was 30 degrees. Somebody should have flattened it. If they truly wanted to save him, he needed oxygen. So it was a lot of wrongs in that video on both sides. Whether it was videotaped of what they said, or whether it was an assumption of what was supposed to be done. If they gave false hope of you got so many hours to get stuff to transfer and didn't give the medical records in enough time so that they could transfer that gentleman over to another hospital. It's a lot of uncertainty. But everybody can say their opinions. And I mean, this is why we have mouths. We have our own opinions. We can say what we want to say. And it's just unfortunate. So I hope for that family that they have peace in their hearts, that they know that they raised a good son. And I mean, when people are angry, what's the first thing? Put in the comments. When you're angry, what's the first thing you want to do at a hospital? Imani, you're correct. Nobody will transport a dead body. And they made sure when a family was escorted out by the cops, no more heart rate. It was no oxygen. He was no longer a living human being. I mean, anybody in healthcare know that. But if they were given that false hope, like, why would you want to transport somebody that's no longer living? Why would you want to waste time giving medical records to the family to transport this gentleman to another area, to another state, to another hospital, if he's brain dead? Why would you want to go through that process? Why was that not told? Or were they not listening? Yes, when people are angry, they do more than blame, Imani. They do more than blame. What do? When somebody dies in their care, whether it was their fault or not, and they're angry at the outcome, somebody else say a comment. What do patients' family do? What do they do when somebody dies in a hospital or a long-term care, skilled nursing facility? What do they do? If somebody dies at home with a home care aide present, what do they do if they're upset and frustrated? They want to sue. That's what they want to do. They want to sue. So, you have to have your your paperwork in order. Hopefully, because hospitals get sued all the time. It don't matter. Is malpractice done? Not saying it was malpractice done with this individual, but it's malpractice done a lot. That's why hospitals have lawyers and they have certain insurances to cover. Hospitals are a billions of dollar business. Let's just be real. So, people's lives are in others' hands when they go to the hospital or any facility where you're helping them. So you have to protect yourself. Okay, let me see. When people are angry, they'll blame the workers. Yep. They make false complaints. They'll get physical and yell and make a scene. Absolutely. They sure will. And I mean, while they doing that, you just got to step back and get out the way, because sometimes you'll get swung on and you're not even in the whole situation. So it's unfortunate. It really is, because I mean, I'm seeing more stuff online of the bad of healthcare. Like, usually people will complain and record to cover to see what's going on, like especially the nursing home situations. Family members feel bad that they can't take care of their loved ones at home because they're busy, or maybe they travel for a living and they're working outside of their home on certain times of the week, and it's nobody that's going to be physically at home 24 hours or every day, and they don't even think about getting a home health aide to be there. When stuff like this happens, they think, okay, well, let me get a nursing home because they can get 24-hour care. And they don't do the research. They just say, oh, I want somebody that's close to me. It's close to my house. So let me do my research and let's have them go there. And then it'd be okay in the beginning and then you hear complaints. But remember, I'm telling you this now. It may take some time, but if you don't like the facility that your loved one is in, and you see them, they're not taken care of good. If you see bruises, or they're telling you that they're twisting your arm, you can request to transfer that patient to another facility. You get a hold of the social worker, you get a hold of whatever facility that you've done your research on, and you got the ratings, and you looked at different feedback, and you did a walkthrough to see. And when you walking through, you don't smell pee soon as you walk through the door. You do your research for your loved one. And if you need to transfer them if they can't be at home with you. Because I've heard a lot of people, oh, well, they need to be at home with you. Everybody can't do that. So while they're at these skilled nursing facilities, have family members and friends pop up at random times. Because when you pop up at random times, guess what happens? Those workers stay on their toes. You know your loved one gonna be taken care of because they don't know when you coming. And if multiple people come on one day, or multiple 2-3 people come on a certain day, they have no choice but to get somebody together. Anybody else want to talk about anything? Let me know. I really appreciate talking with y'all. I like the interaction, and hopefully everybody that's watching is subscribed. Ooh, I'm getting low on this water. I'm all the way down to the bottom. Your girl been running her mouth. But that's why I'm here. Hello. Anybody else have questions, comments? Maybe they're going into something and they want some tips on what to do. Let me know. Let me know. Or how about this? Out of these 150 plus people, are you happy where you're working at right now? Yes or no? And tell me if you're in healthcare or non-healthcare. How about that? Are you happy where you're working at right now? And say either yes or no, and say if you're working in healthcare or non-healthcare. I'm eager to see this, because I know everybody on my channel is not in healthcare, or maybe they're retired from healthcare. Some people may be on their way to getting into nursing, or just took a CNA class. But I'm eager to know if you're happy where you're currently working, whether you're in healthcare or not. JD Fisher, hey, how you doing? And you can chime in on this too. Yes, absolutely believe that. But I want to know from y'all if you're happy where you're currently at. I'm good. I'm trying to ask everybody if they're currently happy where they're working, whether it's in healthcare or non-healthcare. And you can let me know too. I think no place is perfect. I think that for myself, sometimes I can say yes, but where I'm currently at, the whole dynamic of how I got where I am threw me completely off. It's nothing that, and I won't disclose where I'm at because I have coworkers that watch me. But I never tell my current job no way on my channel. So never did, even on my old channel. But the whole way that I got into where I am is beyond me. It is they did some slick stuff, and placed me somewhere because they needed help, but I wasn't hired for it. So when it comes to like stuff like that, no, I'm not happy. I enjoy seeing my patients, taking care of them, making sure they get questions answered, you know, medications refilled, stuff like that. But the I would rather be somewhere else in that hospital than where I'm currently at. So that's my answer. Well, that's all of my water. Okay. I mean, I like where I am so far. That's all. Working out in a stable position. Could it be better? Yes. Yep. Okay. Especially if they don't see me too. I love seeing my patients. Yeah, you know what? It's always about the patients. It's never about the coworkers. But if you got some cool coworkers, it's even better. Cause you know, you can kind of like joke with some people. Your day goes by a lot smoother. But when you have a coworker that's like always looking at what you're doing, trying to run and tell, it's like I don't want to deal with that. We all have a job to do. If we can work as a team, it'll be awesome. But if you want to be like that, stay over there. I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna take care of my people. I got this. Okay, I love being a nurse, seeing my patients. But I'm over the politics of hospital and being so underpaid. Okay. Cost of living. So, you know, not every job is even given an increase every year, let alone like cost of living increases every year. It's unfortunate. Some people literally have to go to another job to get their increase. I think on the last live, somebody said they didn't get a raise in 3 years. But yet they billing the patients. How come you can't get a raise? I don't like that at all. Okay, Tracy. I hate that too. Let me see. I have a bunch of junkie patients. You know what? And I'm sure they're happy to see you to be helpful. I used to work in a clinic when I was a phlebotomist, and it was a lot of ex drug users. Maybe some still use, but I had to get blood from drug users. And when I say difficult, they told me where to go though, so it made it a little bit easier. But when I wasn't there, they was pissed. They was like, "Why would you not come to work? You let this person come over here and they ain't know what they was doing." So the junkie patients, they can be cool, depending on what you're doing for them. Okay. I work on med surge floor as a CNA, and we were short staffed. I have 12 patients daily. I was wondering if it's like this everywhere. I used to work at a nursing home, and I've had over 30 patients. So, what is this? Toasty squish? Toasty squish. Good name. Okay. What I believe is, of course, the 30 patients is the 12 patients is better than 30. But yeah, it's short everywhere. Because people don't want to work in the hospital, or if they do, they call off a lot. They got FMLA they can use, and it makes it hard for the people that come to work. So I would say, okay, so med surge. So when I worked in the ICU, we only had one tech, one CNA. I think we called him a tech. Um, on both sides of the ICU. So, and that was before, that was pre-pandemic. It's gotten a lot worse post-pandemic. So yeah, that's probably normal. Um, and I would, I would say, uh, let me see, Toasty Squish. Have you ever worked with more than yourself as a CNA when at work? Do you have more people that work with you? They just not coming to work, or they just quitting? Okay. Um, I went to travel because of politics. Yeah, travel is awesome. Like I said, I needed something to, I have to, me and my husband are trying to do something, and I need to have a more stable, permanent role. But when that's over and done with, you think I ain't trying to go back to travel? Unless I find something with my master's beforehand, because I'm gonna get my master's. I want to teach, but um, I definitely miss travel. I miss it. Okay. I'm scared I'm gonna get fired every day because I can't do all that's asked of me as a CNA. It is impossible with the ratios we're given. Okay, again, I want to know if you are you working by yourself? Because 12 patients, you probably work a 12-hour shift. Hey, Jim, can you pour me some water? I drank it all. Run in my mouth. You won't be in the video. I just need you to. Thank you. Um. Okay. So yeah, I'm just eager to see if you're working by yourself, because you may have to. I guess to survive, you may have to do stuff at a certain time frame, like do everybody's whatever at this time and that at this time, and you know, are your nurses helping you at all? Okay. Um. Thank you. Fresh water. Okay. Let's see. They're gonna take your needles. The junkie patients. You know what? It's something. It's a program in Detroit that's not too far from me, and what they do is they swap out needles. I forgot the name of the program, but they'll, since it's drug users, they'll take their old needles, the dirty ones, and then they'll put it in the sharps, and they give them fresh needles. So if they're shooting up, which I never heard of this, but I guess it keeps their needles clean. So here's what it is. Let's see. I used to work at one also, and they would take all the old people painkillers. So this one was, this was kind of, they didn't have stuff like out like that. A lot of things were locked pretty good. What I will say is, when I was there, somebody broke in. This was around Black Friday. Somebody broke in and stole the TV that was mounted, like the TV. And I'm like, oh, I guess they wanted a Black Friday TV. So that was the only thing that happened. But other than that, you know, everything was okay during the time I was there. Okay. Let's see. I love my CNAs. They are literally the backbone of the facility, but they be doing that to nurses as well. I've had to do 16 patients as a nurse and a tech. I love nurses that work together and help each other. I got you when you go to lunch. If a light goes off and I'm free, I'll help. Joking and making things fun. Exactly. CNAs are our eyes and ears. Absolutely. I traveled and never left the city. I'm getting my master's as well. Awesome, Tracy. I'm actually trying to see if the place that I'm currently at, if I'm still there after my complete year, they'll pay for my master's. So I'm trying to see if I want to do it. But if I go back to travel, I'm sorry, that was kind of fast. If I go back to travel, I can just pay for it myself out of pocket. All right, always do care and bed baths to help the AIDS. Oh, that's nice. Hey, mama. Okay. Hey. Let me see. Please realize that junkies have an addiction and it's a disease. Yes, needle programs are a good thing. Absolutely. I think when this was a free clinic in a way. So they could go and see the provider, and if they needed blood drawn, they would send them to me and I would draw their blood. But it wasn't just all junkies that was there or drug users that was there. Um, I mean, it will be mom and baby. It will be people that didn't have insurance. So they would come to that clinic, and at that time, I would just draw their blood. I would, I was the phlebotomist there, so they would come to me. But it was different areas in that clinic that um, could help them, but it was more so of a walk-in clinic if you needed help with certain stuff. So that's what that was for. Woo! So thankful for this. Anybody else have any comments, questions, concerns? Oh, it's 5 o'clock. Let me check something. 1 second. Tracy, I see that. 1 second. Let me look at one thing. All right. We good. Okay, so right, and you're not stuck at a place you can do better at. I'm paying for my master's, and there are grants to help nurses further their education. You know what? It's not a whole bunch of grants out there for masters, but I guess when you do your research, you'll see them. Also, what I will say is, depending on if you are trying to get your master's, and say you're at a hospital, sometimes those colleges will give you a discount. It's probably 10% or something like that, but they'll give you a discount off of tuition. If you travel, there's some travel agencies that will give you discounts as well. So do your research, because I know that there are some benefits that I got when I was traveling with a particular agency, and they still send me stuff. So whenever I get the emails, I kind of look and see, like, oh, okay, well, they offer discounts on childcare, or they offer discounts on car rentals, or they offer discounts on memberships, gym memberships, stuff like that. So it's benefits to travel, and you still can get kind of the perks of what you would get at a hospital. So that's pretty good. All right, I was a patient care tech on our adult mental health ward. We were constantly understaffed. I ended up leaving after being assaulted by a patient twice my size. That's terrible, Tony. Yep, Tony. That's terrible. Um, for for me, it's some people that love mental health. For me, when I worked in the ER, the area where we would hold our mental health patients until they got placement, you always, your head is on a swivel, because you don't know who is going to go off and hurt somebody, or and we took everything away so they couldn't hurt themselves, but they would get upset and they would dart at the staff, and you don't want to be in that, because if you get injured, you can't work, you can't help anybody else, you need to help yourself. And it's scary. It's a scary environment to some people. Some people love it because it's cool and laid back to a certain degree in a certain area. But for me, I never really cared for it. Okay. I want to become a forensic nurse because I have lupus. I have been with my agency for 14 years of my 24 years on the job. Okay. All right, Tracy. Do you have a place in mind to work as a forensic nurse? I think, because you said you were getting your master's too, right? Because they have a master's in forensic nursing, but do you have a place in mind on where you would like to go? Okay. I've been assaulted by other patients multiple times in front of nurses who told me not to report it due to the paperwork they would have to. Girl, bye. Tony, I'm sorry. Tony, if Because Tony could be either or. So if it's girl bad, I'm sorry, or boy bad, which one of those nurses to say it? You've been assaulted. Reported for what? Not reported for what? You've been injured. So you walk around beat up by patients because the nurse said it's too much paperwork. I would have sent the email to my manager like, this patient assaulted me today at this time. This happened, this happened, this happened. Look, it's all about patient safety and staff safety, especially in a mental health ward. Forget that paperwork. Were they just lazy? Was the nurse just lazy? Okay. Nurses are on the top 10 most dangerous jobs. You know what? And you never think about it like that. It probably wasn't like that in the beginning. Or, it's so many people that deal with certain things and they take it out on nurses, doctors, CNAs, phlebotomists, whoever comes across their path that's not doing what they want to do, because they're going to talk to you any kind of way. It could be irate patients at a veterinarian office. It's just unfortunate. If they don't get what they think they should be getting for their animals, they may blurt out or dart out at you and be upset. This is just the world that we're in. You got to be safe. So if you don't feel like you're safe in your environment, go somewhere else. Put in your time, but actually let's pause, because when you put your 2 weeks in, some people fire you right then. So do your part, do your research, apply for stuff. When you get the job, okay? When you get the job and a start date, time that perfectly so that when you put in your 2 weeks, you still got a check coming before you got to wait for the new job's check. A little nugget for y'all. Okay. Tony, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yes. And I'm also have a college I can teach at. I need you to report it because you may need care. Wow. That is pure laziness and disregard. Yes. I've had a lady lose it, and my boss sent me to the best of everything because I couldn't feel my right hand. Oh my gosh. It's okay. The hospital was the hospital I was at did not care. Are you kidding me? So why should you care and even stay there? Go ahead and get you another job. Oh, it sounds like you already got something else. So when you feel that you're not valued as an employee and you're being beat up by patients, it's time to go. The security being there for the last one did the reporting since they were also sitting with me. I love the ward, but made amazing memories. Okay, so Tony, it looks like you're not there anymore. You deserve way better. I agree. You deserve way better. And I think that working in healthcare, you shouldn't be beat up on. You shouldn't be. But it's certain areas where that is a high, it's a high possibility that it's going to happen. And mental health is one. Not saying that everybody in mental health is going to beat you up. Some people may just, want to be by themselves and they just want to listen to music and be in their zone. But it's some people that are manic, that want to inflict harm on people, and it's terrible because you don't know what's going on with people's minds. And if the doctors want to heavily medicate them and then try to wean some stuff off and then they just freak out, you're right there and you don't know what's going to happen to you. That's why, mental health is all over. It can be in your household, it can be in your school, it can be at your job. You can be working with somebody that's going through something. But I really don't feel that I would enjoy being at a mental health facility, like 100%. No. NYC hairstyle. I'm not. I currently work at an amazing dental office and work as a dental assistant. I will say I can definitely handle anything the world throws at me. Yes, you can. Truly needed to share. Um, a dental office probably is pretty cool though, to be honest. But yeah, anybody that has to deal with people, whether you're a cashier, okay, at a grocery store or um a fast food restaurant, or you have to deal with people, and everybody is not going to be pleasant. In a perfect world, yes, but no. You're going to have upset customers, irate patients, people that are going to want to inflict pain on you for something that has nothing to do with you, but they're upset. And society has made it okay for people to do it. So it's terrible. Okay, let me see. I got kicked in the head by a 63-year-old, and I worked tons of mental health. The kid unit was the worst. Just said what parents do. That's terrible. I think when no one deserves poor behavior. I hate seeing kids going in a store and destroying things. I was gonna say something. I'm gonna be quiet about that, Tracy, about kids destroying things. Well, no, I'm not. Okay. I wonder did they get their butts whooped, because it's no way I'm gonna have any of my three daughters go in a store and being tearing up some stuff. I don't know what. No, and you can't even. You saying for me to show something and you said Bob's. You about to get removed. You about to get silenced from my channel. Sorry, you on timeout. Bye bye. So yeah. Um. I wonder if they got their butts whooped growing up, because when needed, my children did get a whooping. The little one that I'm raising now, I mean, she doesn't really need it as much, but when she gets out of hand, sometimes I give her a certain look and she like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. But when she's over the top, she get her little bums whooped. But some stuff shows when people go in the grocery store or they're out in public and the kid is just acting a plumb fool. They haven't been disciplined at home. Okay. Anybody else want to say anything? It looks like it's been 3 hours since we've been on here. I'm surprised the little one ain't come down here and interrupt us. And my phone's still holding up. Look at that. It ain't died on me. The last live, it froze on me. So let me be quiet so it won't. Okay, the worst. The last patient I was assaulted by was dropped off by their parents at 28 years old, autistic, schizophrenic, and I don't blame them for anything. You know what? Some parents are frustrated and don't know what to do with autistic children. And I've seen in the ER where we've had a patient where he was dropped off, and I think maybe the mother was a little bit older, and he was molested. He was molested in the group home that he was. So when he first, and that he came from, but he flipped out in there because he was tired of it. So when he came, he asked, he said, when we first got to him, he was so sweet. He remembered your name after the first time. He was like, are you going to touch my butt? Are you going to touch my butt? That just shows what he went through in that group home. So if you're frustrated with your children about a situation, at least research where you're going to put them if you can't keep them any longer. Because nobody deserves to be molested. And you're autistic too. Bless his heart. He was a sweetheart too. Whatever he wanted, if he wanted extra food, snacks, we got it for him. We did. Okay. I have intermediate English, and I just started CPT training. Do you think I could make it and get hired if I pass the state board exam? Absolutely. Absolutely. And if it's some Luna Chicago, and if it's some things that you need to do to help you to study better, do that research now so that you can pass the exam the first time. But yeah, absolutely you can. And don't ever doubt yourself. All right, Tony, it's hard to blame them when so many issues were going on. Blessed indeed, I agree. Glad I found you. Amen. What a wonderful community you have. Never doubt yourself and keep going. Absolutely. Absolutely, y'all. And for all these people that are commenting, I know y'all subscribe to the channel, right? For the people that like this video, I know y'all subscribe to the channel, right? I know you're not a part of those 3.4 million that watch but don't subscribe. I know y'all subscribed. I just know it. And thank you for doing that if you just subscribe right now or subscribe today. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give y'all a few more minutes to put in something in the chat if you want to. And then I'm going to wrap it up because my husband will be home pretty soon. And the baby girl probably will be up in a minute, bugging me about a snack. Okay, now Tracy, you do what you got to do. Well, my daughters, I had them in my 20s. And then my last one, thanks Tracy for subbing. And my last one I had in my 30s. But my first two were back to back. They not even a year apart. So I had, what do they call those? What type of twin? Some type of twins. I forgot the name of them. I think it starts with the E. But I had them back to back. I will share your channel on my page with thank you. JD Fisher, tell me your name again. I know we spoke before, but I don't remember your name. I think we spoke, and you said your name. Because I'm trying to remember what we were talking about before. I try to keep up and have people to give me an update on everything. And let me see, my daughter is 29 and 23. My oldest is graduating next summer for her. All right, look at that. Congratulations. JD, I know you've been a subscriber. The same one who asked about the oh, okay. Got you. Okay. All right. I knew that name looked familiar. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay. Let me see. My father died from septic shock, and I'm a medical provider and still in a hospital. You do what you got to do. Is it something that Don, is it something that they caught and tried to take care of at the hospital, or is it something that they drew his labs and let him go home? Because I remember my first day of business then will be on the wall where I graduate. Nice. Uh-oh. Pudding Pie, is that you? You got pajamas on. I'm gonna get off in a minute, okay?
I'll say hello.
Your hair off. Okay, forgive her fuzzy hair and stuff.
I say hello.
Look there.
Hello.
They can't see you. Now do it.
Hello.
Look up.
Hi.
There you go. See ya. I gotta do her hair. Don't judge me, y'all. It's the weekend. They said hello, Puddin'. Don't cut that TV on yet until I get done. You get your balloon? Okay. All right, so let me go back. They drew his labs at 6 a.m., which showed a white blood count of 20K. Let me see. The doctor put in a discharge. What? So they totally missed it. Don, they missed it. What a cutie. My grandbaby was almost 5. Tracy, yes, she just turned 6. Thank you.
I want to be
7 next year, child. That ain't.
Yes, it's gonna be.
Wow. So wait, pause. I'm talking. Putting you want to go upstairs and wait for me? Okay, so you gotta be quiet.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, JD. Let me see. So the doctor put in the discharge order at 9 a.m. So they drew his labs, realized he white blood count was 20,000, and they discharged him. They discharged him 3 hours later. They put an order in at 3 hours later. Now, if you're septic, it's no way that you are gonna get whatever type of fluids and medication within a 3 hour time slot. And if it's missed, because in my new nurse days, there was some results. It was somebody that got blood work done, and there was some results that popped up, and they had to call the patient back because they were septic, and they end up getting everything done for her, and they admitted her. But 3 that's terrible. I don't know who did that, but you do what you got to do, Don. Okay, he has symptoms since 10, such as shortness of breath and chest pain. So they discharged him after he got his blood work. I'm sorry, y'all. I need to put some oil in my scalp. They discharged him after he got his blood work done. And did they not look at the white blood count? I don't know. This is ridiculous. People need to slow down and look at stuff before they just discharge. If he was short of breath and had chest pain, automatically, depending on, I came in at 5 p.m. and saw he was short of breath. Okay, if he had these symptoms and he was in the hospital, there is no way that he should have been discharged. And if you're saying this is your dad, so I'm thinking that he's an older gentleman. And I mean, when I say older, it don't matter. You could be 50 plus. When you have chest pain, shortness of breath, and you have a white count, you being admitted. Who did that? Was that a resident that wasn't paying attention? And the doctor that was over, don't cut that TV on. I'm sorry. And this is why I do this when putting, don't throw that ball over here. No, that ball needs to go over there.
I'm just gonna hold it.
Okay. This is why I do this when putting to sleep, because she distracts me. So anyway, they put him on oxygen because probably he was short of breath, but he was having chest pain. That's an automatic admit, or at least keep him in the ER for a while to see what's going on. Let the labs come back, and when you see the labs come back, do your part. Because sometimes labs don't come back that quick, depending on what's going on in the lab. So, I'm sorry you had to deal with that. But like I said, do what you got to do. Because even though, the hospital is so wrong for that, that was a precious life that could have still been here. Okay. She loves her mama and wants your attention. Absolutely, I know. She is a princess too. No labs were done until I came in. Yep. Are you serious? So he came in for chest pain and shortness of breath. The first thing you do in the ER is to get a line in labs. You put an IV line in. You don't have anything flowing through it, but you get an IV lock in. You send those labs off. And you know what? Back when I first started the ER, it was a protocol we did. When a patient comes in for chest pain, we put them on a monitor. Short of breath, we check all of their vitals. We draw labs. We even knew which labs to draw because the doctor did the same stuff for each patient to see what they were trying to rule out. Now, if it was more things, then we would do more stuff. But you know, the chest pain and the shortness of breath doesn't equate fluids, but it equates lab work. You want to see what's being done, because you don't want somebody that's short of breath getting fluids and say they're in fluid overload, or they got CHF or something like that. So you don't automatically give fluids for that. And then you also make sure that they're not a dialysis patient, because they can't have a lot of fluids. You only give a minimal amount for them. Okay, so yes, you run Rainbow Labs for those. Yes, Tracy, you do. It was just automatic for you to just have that. We had that, so when the doctor come in, because you know, you come in, you see your patient, you assess your patient at the bedside. I already had my cart, because remember, I was a phlebotomist before I was a nurse, so needles didn't bother me. I was putting in IVs soon as I could as a nurse. So I drew the labs. I had them in a bag with the patient label on it. So when the doctor wanted to order whatever labs, I'm like, okay, well, I already drew X, Y, and Z. And the doctor knew who his good nurses were. They knew. So if he wanted to do a basic metabolic or a comprehensive metabolic, a CBC, if he wanted to do any other thing, we had it already. So all we had to do was have him to put the order in, print the labels were printed, we just sent it up to the lab, and then we had extras if he wanted to do something. If the patient was on any type of blood thinners, we already had the blue top tube for coags and stuff like that. But that was just something that we did. That was just a given. I went back to that same ER recently to work per diem, and they don't do that anymore. So I didn't do it because that's not what they do anymore. But back when we did that, and people were getting taken care of, and we were getting labs resulted, and we would be able to see more things. So I don't know why they didn't do labs on your dad until you start yelling, because they should have did that as soon as he was assessed. Tracy, you said you getting pick certed. You know what? I would like to do that, to be honest. I don't know how to go about doing it. If you know, put it in the chat, but I would love to do that. I really would. I would love to be a pick line nurse. I really would. It's kind of like universal protocol. Yes. If you know, Tracy, give your girl a tea on how to be certified with the pick line. I've missed out on a couple of contracts because they needed pick nurses. And I mean, I know how to flush the line and do all of this other stuff with pick lines. And I've worked with ports, picks, trialysis. I did all of that in oncology. But I would love to get, I need to do my research. I tell y'all, do your research. I need to do my research for sure. I'm probably going to do that when we get off this live. Look at you giving me some stuff that I think I may want to do. I need to look into that to see what I can do.
I'm hungry.
Let me get off of this, and then you can get your snack. I think you get your snack from what your sisters bought, right?
Yes, donuts.
Okay, so have a seat out there. I'm going to end this in a moment.
Wait.
Oh, you want to be there and be quiet?
I like being here and be quiet.
Okay. All right, Mom, that is you. You gotta be quiet, Puddin', or I'm not gonna let you stay.
Can I show them that?
No. Quiet, Puddin'. Do it. You need to have so many successful IV starts, and go to your boss and tell them you'll teamed up and get trained. I guess it depends on the hospital, because I've done hundreds, if not 1,000 IVs. So I guess it depends on the hospital, because if it's a way for me to get that certification outside of the hospital, perfect. But the department that I'm in currently, I don't put in IVs. They don't even let us draw any blood. We send them to the lab. So I have to do my research. All right, Miss Missy is being a little wiggly. So if sounds like you have your IV starts already, you should have. Stop. You should have been there. Mine is 5. Okay, so I'm gonna end this live now because Miss Missy is up and she's taking away my focus as moms focus on kids
No, I'm not.
when they intervene and interact. Especially she's not napping anymore. So I'm gonna end this live. Lando, that's your shout out. And
Are you done?
see, she's saying, "Am I done?" I gotta get this baby a snack. And if y'all
done?
have any, you gonna go to your room because now you're being rude.
No, sorry.
So be quiet while I try to close this. Anyway, you said shout out to my dog Coco. Hey Coco. Anyway, give her love. She is number one. Yes, I'm trying. So, of course, she is her little spoiled self. Thank you for having me. Thank you for watching me, Tracy, and commenting. And again, hopefully everybody that's on here, it's like 160 of y'all right now. Y'all subscribe to the channel. If you have something that you want to put on here and I've already ended this live, feel free to still do it. I do come back to my lives and answer or comment on things that are on here after the fact. But I got to tend to Miss Missy over here. So y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.
You're done?
Say bye. Oh, today is your birthday. Gracie. Happy birthday, Gracie.
Happy birthday, Gracie.
Even my little one say happy birthday. All right, I'm going to end it. Y'all be blessed.
You done?
Are you done? What you mean, am I done? I'm trying to end my live, child. Hush.